As we journey from the inaugural Pro Tour stop in Florida, our travels lead us to a familiar landscape, the banks of the Brazos River in Waco, Texas. Here, amidst tranquil surroundings, lies the stage for the Waco Annual Charity Open, a tournament steeped in memorable victories, legendary throws, and the pursuit of perfection. Navigating through a labyrinth of winding woods and gusty fairways, players are met with a formidable challenge known simply as the Beast. This course has long been heralded as a test of technical mastery where precision reigns supreme. However, this year, Waco embarks on a new chapter. With different styles of play converging, the competition promises to push the boundaries of every player's skill set. Will we witness the emergence of a new prodigy? Or will history repeat itself? A new era of disc golf in Waco, Texas begins now.
Good afternoon, disc golf fans, and welcome to Waco, Texas for the first Disc Golf Pro Tour Plus event of the 2024 season. It is the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy. Round number one for the MPO division is about to go off after a brief weather delay. It's Tournament Central time. Brian Earhart, Nate Perkins bringing you into the action yet again. And talking about this morning's action on the FPO side, it's Ohn Scoggins on top, 8 under par effort, 304 total feet of putting from Ohn today. Nate, what do you make of that?
Yeah, that's an astounding statistic, and if you just threw that out there, I think a lot of the fans at home would pick Ohn to be that player. It's putting is what has carried her to these rounds in the past, and when you think about Ohn, you think about her being a technical player, but she really doesn't love a really skinny fairway because she likes to flex it so much. So when you ask Ohn about these woods, she's not really that comfortable, but she looks like she's worked in a new shape right there. The dead straight shape, Brian. Do you see that little touch that she put on that leopard?
I mean, the little late flip backhand, that's a great skill to have because, I mean, yeah, the forehand is good, but her forehand likes to move right to left, back to right so much that she has to have some tools to hit these tight windows, but that's what Ohn Scoggins does best. Whenever you talk to her about playing a wooded course, I know every year at Northwoods Black, you ask her what her game plan is, she just says hit the gap. She's not afraid to just go with whatever she feels most comfortable with to advance the fairway because she knows some of these tough holes are not going to get birdied by the entire field. She's a really smart golfer. I mean, we call her the best putter the FPO potentially has ever seen, which might be true, but I personally think it's her course management that gives her these scores. 8 under, just a great effort. But she said, Nate, she's going to have to play a really boring game plan over at Lake Waco, 10,000 foot course over there on the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, significant different style of play from here at the Beast, and I'm keen to see how she chooses to attack or not attack over there. I think there are some holes that have some significant water carries that she might actually have to play like completely safe and obviously play for the par, but maybe even a single bogey in some instances. And looking forward to seeing how Ohn does it. We got a chance to talk to Ohn after her 8 under par effort today. Let's take a listen.
All right, joining us in the clubhouse, your current leader at 8 under par, Ohn Scoggins, 304 total feet of putting distance. Talk about the day. That's wild.
My putting today was like, I feeling good today. I maybe missed some 1 or 2 putt today, but overall, putt in the wind. I'm kind of extra focused today about putting. I'm not take too short, take some time here and there. And like I said, I cannot overthinking putting too much. I try to just let it go.
Overall, when you went in the woods, you got a decent amount of birdies. Talk about how the game was feeling throwing-wise, backhand, forehand.
I'm very fortunate to throw both backhand and sidearm, especially at the wood course. Like sometimes you need like some sidearm up shot here and there, so I have that, and I feel comfortable with the wood. And also when I come out of the at the field out here, like I feel like more comfortable. I use the right disc this year, and I learn the course every year. So yeah, just overall I learned the course better.
Well, you said that you had to get your birdies stacked up on this course because tomorrow we go to Lake Waco. Talk about that course.
Man, I practiced yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. I start hurt my arm, my tennis elbow, because I have to play full drive, lay up. So tomorrow you're gonna see a super boring golf from me. Like I said, I need to stack up some score here because tomorrow is gonna be boring golf for me.
Well, Ohn, thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, Ohn mentioned to me that over at Lake Waco, she thinks the hot round is going to be in that 6, 7, 8 under par mark again because of how the elite distance throwers could fare out there, including Kristen Tatar, who had a pretty solid opener to start her 2024 season. Shot a 6 under par, 1 bogey on the scorecard on the brand new number 16. Nate, you were following her all around with the microphone today. What did you make of that?
Well, Brian, you said something after her round. You said it was the most Kristen Tatar-esque round that we've seen to open the season. I mean, 1 birdie on the front 9. Things were just not really going her way. She was getting the late tree kicks, and she missed a couple birdie putts early, but she remained calm. I mean, almost too calm at times, it seemed. Just walking around the course, not a care in the world. She said she's just going to let the birdies come her way. That's exactly what started to happen. She got the forehand warmed up. Here she is, hole 11, just piping that stable forehand. Here she is on 14. Little baby flex out of the hand right here. This is a pretty gnarly right to left crosswind at the time. Leans on the overstability there.
Nate, she has a few shapes with that forehand. One from a baby hyzer that stands up to flat and then kind of fades out again. And then that mini flex that she's throwing here. She's the best at both of those shots in disc golf right now. I mean, she's so consistent shaping the disc like that. And like you said, she doesn't look stressed out. I mean, you're hearing on the broadcast, yes, you know, looking like a slow start from Kristen, but you just know that at some point she's just going to rattle a couple of birdies off and then be 2 off the lead, and then get a couple more and she's going to be in the lead. And the slow start, that was still 1 under par through 9 holes, ended up putting her 2 off the lead. So 3 more rounds, we go to the golf course. I like her chances. Another 1,000 rated round under her belt for today's first round. We did talk to Kristen after her first round of the season. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
All right, Kristen Tatar here. 6 under par, just 1 bogey on the front. Talk about that start. You just said to me off camera that it felt a little strange competing. Can you expand on that?
Yes, I mean, it's been so long, almost 5 months, I think, that I've really played competitively, and I knew that once I come here, it's going to be cameras in my face, and I'm the defending champion, so there might be some expectations coming from the fans. But to be honest, I didn't really let it bother me, but it was still weird. So I feel like at times things weren't really going my way, because last year was kind of perfect and everything seemed to be going my way, so it was tough to accept those mistakes, so to speak, but I just kept telling myself to just enjoy, relax, the birdies will come, and I mean, I did the best I could.
The birdies did start coming. I mean, people were starting to wonder, maybe she's just not knocking all that rust off just yet, but they did start to come. I want to ask you about something that I saw out there on 16. You were approaching your third shot to putt for your single bogey from 50 feet, and you shook your limbs like a cat does when it falls out of a tree. How does that help? Is that resetting you mentally, or?
I don't even know. It just comes automatically, I guess. I'm just doing what I feel is necessary to be relaxed and to putt and give my best effort, and it was really a great moment, because I feel like my focus was switched on and off at times. I was at times too relaxed, and then I was quit choking around. You have to you can't take double bogey. It's just you have to at least save single bogey. And then when my focus is on, I prove to myself that I can really like get things done. So that was really nice.
All right. Well, Kristen, congrats on this 6 under par effort. You're just 2 back of the lead. We'll see you at the brand new Lake Waco course tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay.
You know, Nate, at the Chess.com Invitational, we picked up on a couple tiny things that Ricky Wysocki said that kind of showcased his greatness and his mental approach to the game. Little thing from that interview with Kristen that stands out to me is when she said the word mistakes, she's not going to say the word mistakes anymore without quotation marks around it. She's trying to build a better relationship with that word, and she's trying to make sure that mistakes don't have a bad connotation anymore. She just accepts them as things that happen on the course. It sounds like she's really focusing on trying to just strive for good and only set her thoughts on doing good and trying her best. And it's easier said than done, but you can see that she's really getting close to fully believing in that. So good luck to Kristen tomorrow. But moving on, we have a player in second place, Ella Hansen. It's starting to look a lot like last year, Nate. Ella Hansen shoots the 7 under par. She's in second place. What do you think?
I love Ella's game right now. I mean, Ella was hot and cold last year. When she was piping the fairways, she looked like one of the best players in the world. But when she would pull on the disc, like when she was tugging on those mid-ranges in the woods, her miss was gigantic. And we're just not seeing that this year. When she's missing, it's still hitting the fairway. She's still sometimes finding the circle. The nose-up hyzer forehand, we're not really seeing that mistake anymore. And she's just so much more comfortable in these positions. Like, there was a time, Brian, where Ella was questioning how she was able to be competing at the top so quickly from transitioning sports. She's like, I don't really feel like I should be here. This doesn't feel right. But now she's put in the work. I mean, we're 3 full seasons in, and she looks great out there. She's obviously very comfortable mentally, and she's putting herself in a great position. The bogey there on 16, unfortunate, but back-to-back birdies there on 17 and 18. That's her dipping into her power and fighting through the wind to finish with those birdies.
She's still so young to the sport. It's just natural that she's going to develop these skills over time, and we have to give her that time to do that. And I think, again, if she puts herself in a position to play under pressure and play for the win, that's just more experience under her belt. And she's been doing it enough lately that eventually she's going to push through. She's going to take down that first victory like we saw Anthony Barela do back in Florida. We talked to Ella after her 7 under par effort as well. Let's take a listen.
Ella Hansen. Ella, what kind of memories do you have when you pulled into the course this year? Like, what came rushing back to you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought a lot about last year. Obviously, like a tough end for me, but I feel like one of the things I'm proud of is like processing those feelings and not just like trying to ignore them. So I feel pretty good about this course. I mean, I love playing it. It's fun to be out here. I feel more confident about my game than I did even last year. So, yeah, I mean, definitely memories, but, you know, proud as well, not just negative.
How'd you feel about 7 under par today?
Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of course with these conditions, like not too windy, no rain this morning, where it feels like you got to score pretty aggressively, which can feel like some pressure, I think, sometimes, but I kind of just try to let the birdies come, throw good shots, put myself in position, make as many putts as I can, and I think I did that pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. From the outside looking in, it looks like you've kind of adjusted your misses. They're kind of narrowing down. You know, the forehand's not really leaking out high on hyzer too much anymore. Like, is that a conscious adjustment that you made?
Yeah, there have been a few adjustments for sure. Definitely on the forehand of just trying to stay kind of more compact as in my form. You know, I think most of my form adjustments have been trying to minimize like extraneous movement. So I did that with my putt this off season too, and worked on the forehand a little bit. But yeah, it's feeling good, feeling controlled. Like, I feel like the gaps are looking bigger than ever. Like my first year out here, these gaps on the woods in Waco were terrifying, and now they look kind of big. So it feels really good to know I have that confidence and to see how far my game has evolved.
Cool. Well, congrats on the 7 under par. We'll see you tomorrow at Lake Waco on the lead card.
Thanks.
Well, it's going to be a star-studded FPO lead card tomorrow morning at Lake Waco, but coming up this afternoon, MPO action for round 1, and we have some Tournament Central chat about that after this commercial break.
Introducing Fractal Line Discs from Prodigy. Fractal is the new visual treatment joining spectrum, glimmer, and glow as an additional aesthetic variation. Fractal line discs utilize a new proprietary processing technique, splashing colors in a complex motif that can trick the eye into seeing patterns while each element remains distinctive and abstract. It's calming, chaotic, and completely one of a kind. Learn more at prodigydisc.com. The 2024 Prodigy Signature Series are here. The Signature Series explores the evolution of flight and captures our players' personalities along the journey. From prehistoric to flying machines, the theme for the 2024 Signature Series has some incredible artwork on some amazing pieces of plastic. Get yours March 22nd on prodigydisc.com and at your local retailer.
Greg Barsby in first place, 12 under par effort. We talked to him as well as the second place finisher so far, Joseph Anderson. Let's hear what they both had to say. Yes, into the clubhouse, your current leader at 12 under par, Greg Barsby. Not a bad way to start the season, huh?
Not bad, yeah. I'm happy with that.
How are you feeling?
Good. Good. I only made one really stupid error on hole 9, and I learned quickly, and I said maybe I don't do that so early in the year.
What happened on 9?
I had about a 90-foot approach, tried to throw a little turnover and kind of draw it in. And I just yanked it, threw it in the tree, and it kicked over to the left, like circle's edge, obstructed. So, didn't make that one. And I'm like, yeah, I could have avoided that. That was pretty easy to miss that.
Started out with 6 straight birdies, got 7 out of the back 9. Overall, game looks pretty solid, especially for the first round of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to be out and back in playing shape, I guess you'd say. The last 3 weeks have been, I kind of have to put off some other stuff in life and focus on playing because we got a long season, a lot of tournaments. So.
Well, Greg, we've got 3 more rounds. Golf course tomorrow. What's your strategy out there?
I've only played it once. I actually thought the course was pretty good, but I don't really know how it'll be affected by the wind. And I think that's going to be the biggest factor is what the wind's going to do out there because it could be a super easy course if it's nice, but if it gets like Waco, which we're right on the river, it's 30, and that course is right on the lake, so 25, 30 mile an hour winds, I'm sure, are pretty common. So it might change a lot of stuff. So my plan, try to put them in balance, and just keep plugging away, work and get those short putts in the basket, and just get numbers.
All right, well, currently in the lead. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right, joining us now in the clubhouse, solo second place for the time being, Joseph Anderson, 10 under par, unofficially rated a 1050 rated round. What are your thoughts on the day?
I was throwing the disc really great, giving myself a lot of opportunities, missed a few putts, and then the delay kind of got me there at the end a little bit.
Talk about the wind out here. You mentioned that it kind of makes this course play really difficult when it's kind of up and swirling like it is.
So right now we have, I think this is like the most common wind. You play 17 and 18 into the headwind, and then the new hole 16 is like a left to right wind, which also makes it more difficult. So yeah, difficult wind.
You got the birdie on 17, which is really challenging with the wind being the way it is. Talk about that hole and kind of how you scored it.
Yeah, so it's a dogleg par 4, playing into a headwind, of course, and then the second shot is downhill, tide OB on the left and on the right as well with a left-right wind. So if you get it on anhyzer, it drops into the water. If it's too hyzer, it goes OB right. So just touchy.
Talk about that second shot. Where were you? How did that look for you?
I was in a good spot. There are those two, that V tree that's there at the corner, and I was kind of behind it a little bit. So I kind of had to lean out. I didn't have a run up, and just threw it flat through that left to right wind and got up there 15 feet.
Well, we got the golf course coming up tomorrow. None of us have seen it in a competitive setting. What are your thoughts on that property and how you're going to score out there?
There's a lot of holes that I'm just going to be happy with par, actually. I think like half the holes I'm just happy with par. The other half I could potentially birdie, but low expectations going into that course.
Right on. Well, good luck tomorrow, Joey.
Thank you, Brian.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, man.
Yep, appreciate it.
See you, man. Well, Nate, you got to love a veteran like Greg Barsby, a world champion, coming out hot. First round of the year, 12 under par. We didn't see him in Florida. He lives closer to Waco, and then obviously he lives to Florida, and it's just awesome to see him still playing at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, he's it feels like he's in a different stage of his career, but he still comes out here with the fire in his eyes. And in that interview, you can tell that he's just kind of all business. He's not shocked that he shot a 12 down. This course suits him well. He's played really well out here in the past, several top 10 finishes. He's played for the win out here years ago. And yeah, I think there's a lot of fans that are in the Barsby empire. They love to cheer a guy like him on, and it would be great to see him play some golf with some of the younger guys out there at Lake Waco.
I mean, I think the way he plays the game is one of the play styles that helped to usher in the new generation of players. I mean, He has everything and has had everything, backhand, forehand, for a very long time. So I think it's just awesome to see him still out here. And I'm excited to see him kind of show off his experience on a course like Lake Waco. I mean, regardless of if you're throwing 650 or not, you still have to put the disc in bounds, like he said, and strategize around some of these longer courses with the OB everywhere. And Joey Buckets, man, Joseph Anderson looks so calm and collected, and yet again he's towards the top. We saw him a little bit last year, but he said he put a ton of work in the off season. He looks unbelievable right now.
He looks great, and I don't know, is he early 20s? Because he just feels so mature when we get the chance to talk to him. He's very relaxed in the interviews, and that kind of translates to his disc golf game as well. He slowed the putt down a little bit when I first started watching him play and played alongside him in Florida. He was firing putts. I mean, just blasting it like you're, living and dying by it, like a 2019 Anthony Barela style delivery. But he's really slowed things down, and it's really not a surprise to me to see him at 10 under. And those numbers, they might not even hold up, Brian, because when we look at the scorecard, I mean, an hour ago when the early MPO started going off, like, it looked like everyone was just going to shoot perfect. I mean, Noah Meidsma got the first 5, James Conrad 7 for 7, Chris Dickerson 7 for 7, Kale LaVisca 7 out of the first 8. Joey was right there 6 for 8. Like, that's where a lot of these people are scoring. And one of the reasons why we love the Beast so much over the years is because we see this and we start to try and predict a final number, and then they come out into these open holes and they have to fight the wind. It's a completely different style of golf, and typically we see the scores get a little bit worse at the finish rather than a little bit better, especially with this new hole 16, Brian. It's playing over par. 17 and 18 always play over par.
Nate, we got to talk about hole number 17, because if you look at the registration list on PDGA.com, 2 of probably the best tomahawk or overhand throwers in the sport right now, at least on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, are rated the exact same. Jared Stoll, Jake Wolf. Last season, Jared Stoll going tomahawk over the top, cutting the corner. That's 410 feet versus over 600 feet if you can cut the corner. Look at that shot.
That is wicked.
This is absolutely bonkers. If you have ever stepped up to the tee pad here at 17, this just is not real. This is not a real shot.
He'll be the first to say he missed his putt. Did he really? That's too funny, Jared. The thing is, it's not just the distance, but it's the initial height. You have to get it up so high. And today, it's a strong left to right wind. This is a great graphic right here. So there's Jared going the 410-foot route. But you can't see how high you have to throw it. Also, the wind direction is just destroying that shot today. So I'm very interested to see if Jared or
Jake
Wolf, yes, if he's going to attack it. I think you actually did talk to Jake, and He might have let us in a little bit.
I caught up with him on the tee pad too. I just wanted to double check with him. I said, hey, Jake, what is the right wind direction for you to go for it on 17?
Yeah.
And he kind of grinned at me and he said, definitely not this wind, but I still might be going for it today. So just two really entertaining players out there today, and I'm really interested to see what they do. With that said, let's fly the actual fairway of 17 on the shot that most of the mere mortals are going to have to throw. It is such a challenging hole. I would say this is close to being on my dream 18 just for how challenging the second shot is.
This is on my dream tournament 18. I feel like
Yes.
there's that dream, home course, and then there's what actually sets up great for tournament golf. This has been one of the most exciting holes on the Disc Golf Pro Tour for the past 8 years, and the reason why is because most often you're playing into a direct headwind for the first 375 feet of the flight, then you're taking a dog leg 90-degree turn to the right, and then most of the time the prevailing wind out here at the Beast, you're going to be throwing this shot into a ripping left to right crosswind, and you're trying to pin this because of the basket's location. Most players are throwing a forehand, exposing it to the wind. Things get really wild here.
Well, Nate, what I love about this second shot, with that crosswind ripping hard off the water, you have to throw something stable that could very easily hyzer out, but you have to throw it almost directly at the basket and trust that the wind is going to guide you on the right line. It is such a high caliber shot, mentally and physically. We have to move on. We have the first edition of Perks Picks, which is a new series that we're going to be doing throughout the rest of this season on Tournament Central. We're going to walk through some scenarios. We're going to make some picks. We're going head to head. We're keeping some score, and at the end, a champion will be crowned. Nate, we have 3 Perks Picks.
All right.
Let's talk through them.
Bring it on, Brian. Year-long battle right now. The head-to-head 4-round tournament this week. Are we going Wasaki or Macbeth? We're talking about legacies here, Brian. I'm going to go Rick. I think he's hot right now.
All right, well, I'm actually going to be going with Paul Macbeth. This man has won this tournament before.
He has.
He has
Ricky
shot
has
18
not.
down on this course. And he's Paul Macbeth, and he's not happy with how he played at Olympus. Yeah, he's still dealing with the nagging shoulder injury, but we're playing 2 rounds at one of the shortest courses on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. If he can just get out there at Lake Waco and just pick the course apart, I think he easily could beat Ricky this weekend. Moving on, Nate, what's next?
We're looking at hole 17. We just broke it down for you guys. We talked about the potential to go for the eagle. We've seen it done in the past. Can it be done this year? And we're gonna throw Jake Wolf and Jared Stoll into the mix. Will they get an eagle? I'm gonna go with that's just too tall of a task.
I have to agree. As much as these guys can get to the green, if the challenge or the bet was circle 2 look for eagle, I would maybe say yes.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna also have to agree with you on that one.
Cool.
What is the final pick, Nate?
And the final score of the tournament, this one's always a fun one. I've always loved to kind of look at the numbers and make a guess. I'm going, they're gonna average 11 here at the Beast, and they're gonna average 7 over there at Lake Waco, putting us at a total of 38 under par after 4 rounds.
My pick was 35 under par for the event for our champion. Whoever's closer to that number is going to get the point. Perks Picks is complete, and now Tournament Central is complete. We will see you out there in the ground. MPO action about to begin.
Let's go.
The team you support from the stands now finds a place in your home. Seasons change, the game remains. Prodigy Disc and the NHL, where disc golf and hockey live.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket, and each of them have a consistent grip. So as you cycle through the series, you won't have to change the way that you hold the disc. These are torque-resistant discs that are more stable than the PA series, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour's 2024 season has begun. And with it comes an unrelenting pace and grind. The most competitive field in the game is back. Yeah! Disc Golf's North American Tour heads to Texas.
There it is, folks.
Where the stakes are high. Dramatic endings are not just a possibility, but an expectation.
Oh my God.
New stars emerge.
Got it.
Wow.
New champions deliver. It's round one of the Prodigy Presents Waco, live on the Disc Golf Network.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Waco, Texas. This weekend we'll ultimately see two courses, but first we kick off at the beloved Beast. Our first Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Plus event kicks off now at the Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Prodigy. Fresh off his win from 2 weeks ago, Anthony Barela ready to go on a blustery Thursday afternoon. Welcome in, everyone. Terry Miller alongside three-time world champ Nate Doss. Nate, just a couple of weeks ago, we were watching Anthony Barela somewhat cement himself in history. We've seen growth from him throughout the last couple of years, but finally getting an Elite Series win, and he did it in such impressive fashion.
He really did, and he went up against Ricky Wysocki head-to-head, come down to the last hole. It was impressive to watch Anthony Barela finally become a champion on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and he did it in the fashion that we expected. He's so good off the tee, he has all that power, but he was finally able to put it together on the green, and that's the key for Anthony Barela. Can he make those putts? Can he give himself those opportunities? Because he's going to have that distance off the tee. It was shots like this all weekend long, and it was fun to watch.
Well, and not only does he have shots and the distance you were just alluding to, but from both sides of the disc. He can do it with a big backhand. We've watched him throw over 700 feet, and then he can step up to a hole like this one and just put it on a dime with the forehand, making it look so easy. Anthony Barela taking down his good buddy Ricky Wysocki to claim that title. Let's take a little bit of a look at his career progression. Junior Worlds champ in 2013, then went on to win the U.S. Amateur Disc Golf Championships and Am Worlds in 2015. 2020, he picked up a silver event win over at the Challenge at Goat Hill, and then in 2024, just a few weeks ago, as we said, the Chess.com Invitational winner. Exactly the progression you'd want to see from someone of his caliber with his skill sets as you look at that average event rating. And we've seen him just kind of shoot himself up the leaderboards throughout the last few years.
Well, and I mean, he's a junior world champion, an amateur world champion. There's only a logical next step to that is a potential professional world champion. And I really think, when you look at Anthony Barela's career, it reminds me of even Paul Macbeth. When Paul came up, he had every skill in the box, but he couldn't put it all together. As soon as he started it was like Niagara Falls. You couldn't stop it. And we might be seeing that with Barela, but he still has some growth left in his game.
And a veteran of the game, Greg Barsby, is on hole number 17. We saw him a little earlier today. And no problem picking up a birdie there. And when it was all said and done, Barsby, a 12-under effort. What a start. Look at that, 6 for 6, and then closing out as strong as he did on the back nine. So impressive. After his round, we were able to catch up with him. Here's what he had to say.
Into the clubhouse, your current leader at 12 under par, Greg Barsby. Not a bad way to start the season, huh?
Not bad, yeah. I'm happy with that.
How you feeling?
Good. Good. I only made one really stupid error on hole 9, and I learned quickly, and I said maybe I don't do that so early in the year.
What happened on 9?
I had about a 90-foot approach, tried to throw a little turnover and kind of draw it in. And I just yanked it, threw it in the tree, and it kicked over to the left, like circle's edge, obstructed. So, you know, didn't make that one. And I'm like, yeah, I could have avoided that. That was pretty easy to miss that. Yeah.
Started out with 6 straight birdies, got 7 out of the back 9. Overall, game looks pretty solid, especially for the first round of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to be out and back in playing shape, I guess you'd say. You know, the last 3 weeks have been, I kind of have to put off some other stuff in life and focus on playing because we got a long season, a lot of tournaments. So.
Well, Greg, we got 3 more rounds. Golf course tomorrow. What's your strategy out there?
I've only played it once. I actually thought the course was pretty good, but I don't really know how it'll be affected by the wind, and I think that's going to be the biggest factor is what the wind's going to do out there, because you know it could be a super easy course if it's nice, but if it gets like Waco, which we're right on the river, it's 30, you know, and that course is right on the lake, so 25-30 mile an hour winds I'm sure are pretty common, so it might change a lot of stuff. So my plan, put them in balance, try to put them in balance, and just keep plugging away, work and get those short putts in the basket and just get numbers.
All right, well, currently in the lead. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Pretty impressive effort there by Greg Barsby, ultimately 12 under, again carting 13 birdies. But right now we're seeing the likes of Ezra Robinson. He's 10 under through 11 holes. And also Joey Buckets, Joey Anderson, he's in the clubhouse. He has carted a 10 under. Antala off to a great start. He's 9 under through 11. So scoring is happening out there today as we're watching Ricky Wysocki.
Second on the tee, representing Prodigy Discs and Legit Disc Golf, Kevin Jones.
Jones flirts with that sidewalk OB, but he checks up safe.
Third on the tee, representing Discraft, Adam Hamas. Rounding out our 335 card, representing Innova Champion Discs and Legit Disc Golf, Zachary Nash.
A very different approach coming out of
Good luck,
Zachary
gentlemen. Have a
Nash.
great round.
Straight up the middle as opposed to playing the wide hyzer. And someone we're used to lacing it right up the middle is one Calvin Heimberg. Unfortunately, he's not in the field this weekend. We got an update from Calvin in his social media account earlier, where he says, unfortunately, I will not be playing the first DGPT Plus event at Waco. I've decided to sit this weekend out due to a lingering elbow injury. If you have me playing in your fantasy lineup, I hope you see this and get me on the bench before it's too late. Good luck to all competitors this weekend. I look forward to watching to see who comes out on top. So, big news. I mean, Calvin obviously just the incredible superstar that he is, to see the year that he had in 2023, he didn't perform particularly well in Florida 2 weeks ago, and now you're thinking back, well, was it related to that possibly? Did he not perform well due to said injury?
Well, it's hard to know, but you would certainly think that would be a factor, because with Calvin, the guy didn't miss a top, 5 really at all. I mean, he had a couple of, bad finishes, but we expect great things out of Calvin Heimberg. I hope that this is, like he said, just lingering and nothing major, but we'll certainly keep an eye out for Calvin. A little bit of a nervous putt there for Jones down the hill.
Saki makes quick work of the birdie look on one. Hannes also in for birdie.
Hole 1, just 291 feet. It's one of those holes you definitely want to get a birdie, especially with the wind not being a massive factor here. So disappointed with a par for these guys.
Kale Leviska coming off an MP40 victory last weekend. Out here throwing his second shot on hole number 15. And not quite on the mark. He is off to a pretty good round, though. He's 9 under through 14 holes. We've got more action on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
As the blades of grass dry and die, the sounds of blades on ice rise. The team you support from the stands now finds a place in your hand. Seasons change, the game remains. Prodigy Disc and the NHL, where disc golf and hockey live.
Introducing Fractal Line Discs from Prodigy. Fractal is the new visual treatment joining spectrum, glimmer, and glow as an additional aesthetic variation. Fractal Line Discs utilize a new proprietary processing technique, splashing colors in a complex motif that can trick the eye into seeing patterns while each element remains distinctive and abstract. It's calming, chaotic, and completely one of a kind. Learn more at prodigydisc.com.
I think this golfing can improve our community in many ways. It brings people together.
That maybe some of these kids who feel a little bit lost could find something like disc golf, find friends, find people to come together and play the sport.
Encouraging people to work together, kids to know one another, love one another.
A way for these kids to have a really fun thing to do together.
I think that's what we need in the world, love one another and do life together.
A round of disc golf can be long, and if you're playing in a tournament, it can feel like a marathon. This can leave you physically and mentally fatigued by the end when your shots matter most. With space for your discs, water, and even a place to sit, a cart enables you to bring what you need, helping you feel more prepared and energized without carrying the extra weight. This can help you maintain your edge and save you strokes through every round.
Yeah, and talking about talent, here's Jonathan.
Stepping up to tee off, looking very good.
Look at those muscles, working that drive.
Well, he clearly works out, and that drive is amazing.
Oh my God, once-in-a-lifetime shot.
Not for Jonathan, it isn't.
I'm going to keep my eye on this guy.
Not going to be very hard, considering how good he looks.
Ska du kasta eller?
Ja. Checka det här. Jävlar.
Snyggt.
The Waco Annual Charity Open is presented by Prodigy. Find your flight. Catching up with Connor Rock on 15. The fact that he's looking at a putt is insane. Oh, and he cans it. That's the eagle for Connor Rock on hole 15. The long thrower from Arizona, carding the eagle too.
Yeah, clean score sheet. And he's going to have a little bit of the dark blue here. What a great long effort here, and it just hangs on at the end.
And you see him outside of the blue whisker, so pushing probably 80 to 90 feet. And Cale not able to take advantage here of the relatively easy par 4.
Just a misfire there from Kevin Jones. Sort of not playing one angle there, trying to flip it up. Way overplayed that. He's going to be left with a circle 2 putt at best. Here's Ricky.
That's going to check up just deep of the basket. So Wysocki trying to start out with birdie. Kyle Klein, our defending champion. Remember taking this down off the chase card last year. Well, the drive was more impressive than the approach there for Zach.
Yeah, huge distance off the tee, but as you said, that's a disappointing upshot. You can see how much he's got left there. You know, again, when you're out here in the open, we have the river just adjacent to the course here. You do not want to have those putts from distance. Whoa. And Kevin's going to have a little bit more left after that effort.
Hamas has a look from circle 2 for birdie. Certainly look good. Just a few inches short though. Nash will cover up that less than impressive approach with a pretty solid birdie putt. Not by much, but it's in.
Yeah, 2 kind of so-so putts. The missed one-on-one was low. That one barely in. Kevin's going to have to clean that up as we move forward. Back-to-back birdies for Ricky Wysocki.
Yeah, not exactly confidence boosting from what we've seen out of Kevin here on the first 2 putts.
We know Kevin does have, challenges with some of the shorter putts. He's a great jump putter. Here's Kale on the new hole. Has to go over the water. Completely blind to the players as well. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, Terry? That new hole.
And Calvin Heimberg is out on the course. We see him along with his good buddy, Zach Melton. I'm not sure he understands the caddy bib memo, though. Doesn't that say Calvin Heimberg? I don't think you're supposed to identify yourself. I think that would be more of a Melton. But
it's just in case people don't recognize him.
Like, man, Zach's caddy really looks like Calvin Heimberg, doesn't he? He's like, yeah, that's me. All right, Wysocki off to a great start. 2 for 2. Going with a forehand here.
We've seen Ricky do this in the past. That was a misfire. Hit the tree there early. Definitely going to be disappointed. Once you get out on that sidearm side past that tree that Ricky just hit, it's pretty wide open to the pin. If you're going to go backhand here, you really have to kind of twist one with something pretty overstable. You want it to finish pretty hard left. But you can't just throw a pure hyzer on the backhand. You have to kind of get it a little flat and allow the disc to hyzer back. Let's see if Hammes can find that sidearm line.
I feel like this route has become more popular just in the last couple of years. When we first were here, everybody was throwing backhands to this hole. Now it seems to have gained in popularity and go in. Oh, and just over the top for Hammes. This is also one that we've often seen elevated, and so a little bit of a change up here.
Yeah, really good point there, Terry. You can see how Hammes took that inside line. A much better effort than we saw from Wiki. This is perfect. Backhand, nice hyzer at the end. Park job.
No putting required for Jones. Our defending champ will be teeing off just on the other side of the break. We'll see you there.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket. These are torque-resistant discs, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
Brought back by popular demand. Z-Lite plastic from Discraft. Discs that you already know and love, now available in lighter weights. Z-Lite, more distance with less effort.
The 2024 Prodigy Signature Series are here. The Signature Series explores the evolution of flight. Get yours March 22nd on ProdigyDisc.com and at your local retailer.
Allen's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be.
I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket, and each of them have a consistent grip. So as you cycle through the series, you won't have to change the way that you hold the disc. These are torque-resistant discs that are more stable than the PA series, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
What is the simplest way to improve your disc golf game? The answer, learn from the very best. Paul Ulibarri, Simon Lizotte, Ezra Aderhold, and Holland Hanley. They're not just players, they are your elite coaches guiding you every step of the way. The Power Disc Golf Academy is the premier online disc golf academy with over 150 on-demand lessons that are specifically designed to improve your skills right now. So what are you waiting for? Join today at powerdga.com.
Back with Kale LaVisca, who was just barely safe off that tee shot. And from there, he would go on to make the par. And Simon Lizotte not having any problems there on the tee of 18.
And just looking at it right now, Terry, the wind, not so much of a factor. That was basically looked like an easy
welcome
shot
to the
for Simon there on
2024 Prodigy Presents Waco Annual Charity Open. It's time for our 355 card. First on the tee, representing Discraft, Anthony Barela. Second on the card, representing Innova Champion Discs and the Future Tour, Emerson Keith. Third on the tee, representing Prodigy Discs and 10 Disc Golf, Isaac Robinson. And rounding out our 355 card, representing Discmania and Grip Bags, Kyle Clyde. Good luck, gentlemen. Have a great round.
So our defending champ, Klein, with the best shot of the group.
Now, is it because he won from the chase card that he's got to go back of the box on hole 1 for the next year?
Like, hey, this is where where you're closest to where you were last time. Wysocki, left side, catches enough chain to drop in for the par. And Nate, we've seen some hot starts. We've seen 5 for 6 and 6 for 7 and 7 for 7 from a couple of players.
You're absolutely right, Terry. And Barsby, who is the leader of the tournament, did start off 6 for 6. He had that one bogey on 9. Then he finished super hot on the back as well. Needless to say, if you're going to want to be at or near the lead going into tomorrow, you're going to need to be in that double-digit range. And that's typical here for the Beast. We see a lot of double-digit rounds. One of the shorter courses on tour, a lot of birdies available for these guys.
Barela's going to need a jumper. The step putt, I should say. Left side chain and in for Barela to get things going.
And we all, if you haven't heard about it, AB shot a 17 under at Fountain Hills last week, and he said it was his putting. He made everything inside 65 feet, and he's starting off today's round with a big one.
Thanks to Zuka for rolling back that replay. Here's Emerson Keith right at circle's edge. Off the mark for Emerson. Good start for Isaac Robinson. Closest to the pin pays off for Kyle Klein. Lone par for Emerson Keith of the card. Wysocki teeing on 4. He's worried he's cut it too close to the left side, and just by a few inches does he get around the corner. That will set up Rick for a forehand from there. We saw Lizotte go deep of the basket and closes it out with a birdie.
That's great. Regardless of the wind, that is not an easy birdie.
What hasn't been easy today has been the weather. Nate Perkins is on the ground. Nate, I feel like we're even getting started late. What's been going on out there today?
Yeah, we had a big lightning strike at about 1 o'clock and caused a nearly hour-long delay out here, and most of the time that's a big inconvenience for players. But since that storm has kind of rolled through and passed, the wind has done nothing but go down. I mean, it's somewhat calm out here right now. Compare that to 2 hours ago when it was a steady 18 to 22 miles per hour. So I don't think anyone's complaining at this point about the hour-long break and the conditions they have to play this round.
Thanks for the insight, Perks. Stay safe out there, of course. As we're watching Isaac Robinson right where you want to be, in the middle of the fairway.
Really not a whole lot to talk about here on hole number 2. It's a pretty simple hyzer, as we've seen from those two guys. AB tried to go a little more aggressive and left it way inside. Too much stability. He's going to have a tough second shot. Emerson's going to have a decent angle from the far right side of the fairway.
James Conrad, I mentioned earlier, was off to a great start. He got 7 out of the first 7 and then picked up birdies on 9 and 11. Here he is on 13. And he had missed the Mando. And so from there, it looks like he's going to be saving the par. So impressive. What also is impressive is how that's powered by Nakwa, your favorite adventure gear. James Conrad doing work out here today, trying to keep the clean scorecard.
I mean, you're disappointed because this is one of the easier birdie holes as you come out back into the open. Missing that mandatory, but what a confidence boost for James to execute that shot, put himself there for the easy par. No harm, no foul.
He's going to now be 9 under through 13. Here's Wysocki.
What a great angle that Ricky had here.
Gannon Burr, who sits at 9 under, trying to move to 10. He needs this birdie on 17 to do so. Burr has 3 consecutive birdies coming into this green, and he's going to make it 4.
Little crosswind putt there for Burr. Just enough to hang in there. This is that angle I was talking about for Anthony Barela. It's just more difficult from this left side. Not bad.
See if his putter's officially warmed up after the effort on 1, because that still has a little work to do.
As we know, Isaac doesn't go to the sidearm all that often, but from this angle, a nice little chip sidearm, we saw it from Ricky earlier, is really what you need to do, but Isaac is so good with those touch backhands.
Take another look. So he gets this one to flip up, turn over, and just ride it. Just the angle control in order for him to put it so close.
Into a headwind as well. That's impressive.
Klein will go with the forehand. As he needs some skip, he gets a few. And well inside the circle. And an interesting play to see Emerson also go with the forehand. Just trying to keep the water out of play. Is that kind of the philosophy there?
Well, I think it's just making the shot into a one-angle shot. So you're able to just put that sidearm on one angle, execute. Now you only really have to worry about distance control. But yes, avoiding the out of bounds is number 1.
Good work.
Ricky now 3 under through 4. Dialed up for James Conrad on 14.
Yeah, with the tailwind, James able to go with a nice slow disc and just ride that wind right to that basket.
Emerson jams it in. Our defending champ with a great start, 2 for 2.
In the press conference before this tournament, Terry, Kyle talked about how he wanted to start to get into these rounds, feel that sense of urgency early. Back at chess.com, he waited a little too late, in his opinion, to make that final push. Today, 2 for 2. It's a perfect start. Same for Isaac.
Kyle also questioned if he was getting old, and he's 22. So sometime I'm going to have to tamper some of his expectations out there as well. But here's Wysocki.
Well, it's a classic clip because he says, I think I'm getting old. And then Perkins asks, well, how old are you? He goes, I'm 22. He goes, oh, no, I'm almost 22. Speaking of somebody who makes being old just a number, this is Kale LaVisca. I did not see that one land, Terry. Did you? We'll check back in with Kale.
Yeah, he was inbounds and ultimately was able to lay up from there. Now, Robinson on 3.
This looks great. That's exactly what you want to do. You could see what Isaac's doing there. He's taking a very overstable disc, throwing it really pretty hard, and allowing it just to finish towards the basket, slightly back uphill at the end. The hole is 320 feet, so you got to give it a little bit of power. And that little tree that you just saw Kyle hit is the reason you can't just go pure hyzer. You have to give it a little bit of a twist just to get past that little tree and then finish at the end.
This 2 is tracking right to the basket as Emerson Keith nails it off the pedestal. Will that get there? Comes in a little short. He's going to have to rely on the putter again.
Yeah, he just didn't get it up flat enough. But got fortunate to give himself a look. Got past some of those bigger trees.
And we saw the drive by Conrad. Here's the result. Again, no putting required. And Kale had laid up to this left side fairway on 18, now going over. And circles edge look for his par.
It was a couple of years ago that Kale was in that battle with Nico LaCastro. That famous big putt we saw in 17. Kale coming up just short there. Maybe a couple years later he can take this one down. Long way to go. See, Kale is inside the top 10.
Klein looking to start 3 for 3. Left side chain, but not enough of it to bring it in. So Barela will be off to a slow start, getting one of just the first 3. Robinson drops in for the birdie as they head to the mouth of the beast. We'll head to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
This is the game changer. Step onto the course with the Pure Premium Disc Golf Bag, adding a touch of glamorous flair to your play. Don't miss the exclusive pre-sale at puredisc.net for the best price. Upgrade your game, upgrade your look.
You've seen them in the hands of professionals, helping them compete at the highest level. Whale Sacks is a female-owned small business, handmade in the USA. We are dedicated to outstanding grip for all disc golfers.
Spend $40 all this month at Power Grip USA and your order ships free. Pick up something popular, try the new Latitude 64 Brave, or even the Innova Roll-Up. Shop us online, powergripusa.com.
Welcome back. Isaac Robinson will tee on 4.
Pretty close to perfect. We saw the shot from Ricky earlier in a very similar position. Ricky went on to birdie. Very demanding tee shot here. You just want to try to trim that inside left, finishing forward. That was immediately pulled. And I would say pretty fortunate to even be in what we would call a short grass here on number 4.
Line doesn't make it around the corner. This looks tight to the left. Does it get around? Doesn't make as much forward progress as you need, but like you were saying earlier, finding still that center fairway is might save you a stroke or two. Wysocki. Not a problem to clean up on hole 6. Double G, Garrett Gerthy has been on a little bit of a tear as of late. Let's see if he can take advantage of the par 4. Massive wind bounces there. Yeah, that is a huge drive. We'll see. Can he match what we saw from Connor Rock?
Well, not only is Garrett one of the biggest throwers of all time, taking advantage of the tailwind there too. So he should have a long look at eagle. So we're getting a great view of what the players see when they don't get as far up as Isaac. A, you can't see the basket, and B, it becomes a very difficult angle to try to get it all the way back to the pin. Got to kind of ride that left side. Big flare skip. Kyle will have an outside look at birdie there. This is a treacherous green as well, falling off behind the pin towards the river.
You hear Double G saying how he likes it. But it looks like it's going to be pretty similar to where Double G is. He may have outdrove him by a few feet.
That's a great shot from James. Perfect worst shot, doubles right there. Oh, nice. Very nice from Barela. Just missing that big tree in the middle, skipping forward. He'll have a look at birdie.
Ricky with the aggressive line on 7, and that looks like it might bite him a little bit.
I will say that actually was a good kick. He was high, going right, kept him in the fairway. He could still maybe birdie, but was not a great shot from Ricky. Isaac in the perfect position. He's going to try to just throw this little baby turnover here. Slow down.
Just barely checks up short of the river.
And now that we're seeing where Ricky landed, I think he was very fortunate, because his disc was going right, kicked back to the left, and now he's going to have an uphill look for birdie on this par 4. Got to be careful here. The river is not that far behind.
Seeing the overview shot from our Flight Factory drone. Hanging out over the river. That sounded like a lot of chain for it not to stay in. Just off the mark there for Emerson Keith.
See the disc of Isaac Robinson. Kind of depend on the lie. Looks like that bush right in front of him is going to make this putt not that easy. He's looking both left and right. But that being said, in this scenario, I think there's a person that you would want more putting this than Isaac Robinson. Just nothing for him. He heard immediate foliage. Disappointing par for Isaac after that great tee shot.
Klein for par. Nate, we don't see a whole lot of 441-foot par fours on the tour, but you can see all the challenge that this presents, including the danger behind the basket and just the premium that's put on finding the fairway. Here's Kevin Jones. That was his second shot. He'll have an uphill look for birdie.
So these are the two discs of, and I mean, Conrad at dinners can be saying, I outdrove Garrett over there on 15.
And then he laid it up, and then I eagled in his face, because you know how much trash that James Conrad likes to talk. That's just totally his personality. Well, I'm here for it. Conrad, the eagle look.
You think if he makes this, he'll turn around and scream in Garrett's face?
Let's go!
Couple of drop-in birdies.
I'm not mad about that. Wysocki from the bottom of the hill. Adjust the putting style.
I go outside right here.
The uphill putt, but doesn't get it to fall in. Robinson on the tee of 5 has it dialed in.
Isaac really just has not missed a shot since we started. He's been on point. That second shot on 4, he just got a little too much juice. And, unable to get the birdie, but that was perfect out of his hand. The hole itself is only 264 feet, but it plays back uphill, so adding a little bit of distance to that.
And Emerson Keith matches.
That's a very tricky shot from Emerson Keith to go with the little sidearm there. Got it to land very softly.
Klein will have a birdie look. Barela's looking to get something going here. He's got to stay off that tree. And he does hit off it, but it carries to the basket. So 4 very good looking shots here ultimately. Take another look at Isaac's shot, which was the most pure of the group. And it sits down right next to the pin. Easy tap in coming for Isaac. If you want to be successful out here, there's a few things you can do, and we're going to take a look at some of those.
First,
we're going to take a look at Adam Hammis, who had aced here last year. Finished inside circle 1.
I would say that was a fortunate tree kick. As you get past this pin, it does start to slope away to the right, and it can get away from you pretty quickly. So a fortunate kick there. I think this should be okay. Yeah, nice ground play there from Kevin.
Not a problem for Kyle to clean up, which means everyone else is even much closer. Barela will double his birdie count. He's to 2 under. Robinson, not a problem. We'll see the same from Emerson Keith. Now let's take a look at some of the keys to success out here, brought to us by our friends at blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
Well, really the keys to success out here is really placement before distance. You want to be, and we just saw it on 4 and 5, on the proper side of the fairway. Don't get in that rough, especially in the woods. The scramble rate's going to be critical in this section of the course. And then wind direction, because it changes how you attack some of those more open holes. On 15, we just saw a tailwind. Those guys were able to take advantage. Imagine if that was a headwind. What are you going to do? You got to change your game up. And so wind direction, very critical in the open part of the course.
Wow, Conrad trying to go up the middle on 16.
Terry, brand new hole this year. It's going to be interesting to see how the players attack it. To my knowledge, there was really not a great option going up the middle. Speaking of going up the middle, perfect from Ricky.
Nicholas Antala throwing his second on hole number 17.
Rode the wind on that one, Terry. Great shot from Antala. He's going to have a look at birdie.
Not off by much, but it's going to keep Emerson Keith from heading down the hill. That's going to track right to the pin and just deep there for Kyle Klein.
See the way that Kyle really flipped that up to flat, got it to ride down the fairway beautifully.
Needs this to turn more, otherwise it's going too straight, but still very makeable putt there for Anthony Barela. Can he take advantage of the good tree kick? And the answer is yes. Kevin Jones from almost the exact same distance. So Jones is now 4 under through 8. Conrad going to a forehand.
It's crazy to me that he was trying to go up the middle. I mean, look at what he's left himself with, having to go to the forehand.
Oh, yeah, go in.
Wow,
Oh,
okay,
God.
Really nice effort. But you can see going up the
But you
middle
don't know
how
how
many
close
little
your
trees
disc
there
is.
are. But James was just unwilling to risk going over the water.
Wysocki peppering in some birdies throughout. He's 5 under through 8.
precarious spot here. If you see that branch going and affecting his right shoulder, I think that makes this shot even more difficult. Hard to get a good swing. All right, it's pretty smooth there from Emerson, but that's going to still be a tricky putt for par. That little bush is not going to make it easy.
And Nicholas Antala trying to get to 12 under where our leader Greg Barsby is.
Did Antala get bigger? He's looking pretty good. Looking fit.
And Ezra Robinson is at 12 under. He's collected 13 birdies throughout the course. Look at that great start that he had. I was going to say 8 out of the first 9, but then you can expand that a little bit more. 10 out of the first 11 for Ezra Robinson. So the scoring opportunities, we just talked about Ricky. You know, he's got 5 out of the first 8, and you're like, well, that's pretty good. That's nowhere near the pace a few of our other players have already been on, as Robinson goes just deep.
I hit him.
He split his legs.
I think he like hit just a bit, like barely got it. Thanks.
Barela now picking up his 3rd birdie.
Just can't get comfortable here. This is an odd stance for Isaac. But he makes it. Nice adjustment there with that back foot, just having to cross his body that way.
James Proctor out there doing work. Well, out on DGN, we've got the Don't Call It a Comeback episode that you should be watching, the DGPT on Tour special series featuring James Proctor is out there and available. As you look at our DGN subscriptions, we have the basic, the standard, and the pro options, and of course all heavily discounted. If you're a current PDGA member, we invite you to join us over on the Disc Golf Network. We're glad you're here today if you're out there on the YouTubes, but we'd love to see you on the network, get great content like James Proctor. Don't call it a comeback. Emerson Keith going to walk away with a par. The rest of the James Proctor coverage is him fully clothed. So I'm going to put out that disclaimer now. Unless there's an extra subscription I don't know about.
Boy, wouldn't that be a revenue stream?
I'm not going to go there. We're on 18 with Antala.
Antala unwilling to take the risk over the water into the headwind. Have to still go over the water on a second shot.
Take a look at our leaderboard. Ezra Robinson, 13 under. Out in front now of Greg Barsby and Antala. James Conrad sits at 11 under. Nate Sexton, we're missing him in the booth, but he's getting work done out there in Waco. Best of luck to Nate and the rest of the crew that you saw there.
I mean, that's exactly what we want to see out of Sexton.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to be here killing it, he should be out on the course killing it, right?
That's exactly right. He's playing Texas two-step. He's going to play next week as well. The sidearm here on 7 is the aggressive play. You can get an eagle if you throw it perfectly. And another fortunate kick there for Barela. He'll still have a chance to make birdie.
And speaking of forehanders, Nate Perkins is out on the ground. And Nate, would you consider this a forehander's paradise? Is that just a shot that's absolutely required on this course? What do you think about it?
I think the forehand certainly plays out here at the Beast, and specifically this hole right here. If you do want to get aggressive and attack, the forehand's definitely the play. And I'd actually like to give a shout out to the one and only Scott Stokely, who carded the Eagle 2 here today. What a way to start his DGBT debut this season.
Yeah, nobody's thrown forehands like Scott Stokely has over the last 30 years. So for him to card the Eagle too, congrats to him. I believe he was on the card with Barsby earlier today, if I recall, seeing the matchups.
There it is.
Yeah, and that may roll out to near where we saw Wysocki with a look, almost exactly where Wysocki was in 2. Emerson's going to have the uphill Eagle look.
Boy, the timing of that is just perfect. As Perkins explained, this is the way to get aggressive here on 7. Low power, and I will say a little bit of a fortunate break at the end to kick out of this tree and roll forward. Huge opportunity to take 2 strokes under par here for Emerson Keith.
Well, that Zuka replay as Emerson's heading down the fairway. Raven Newsom had picked up the Eagle here earlier on hole number 7. He's having a pretty solid round himself, 8 under. I think he's already in the clubhouse with that 8 under.
You know, this is an interesting kind of dilemma to think about with this now DGPT Plus event being 4 rounds. Just shooting pretty good here. Still, you can shoot great at the other course and put yourself in position. That's a nice shot there from AB, drop in birdie. But the 2 courses are so different, right? I mean, tomorrow we're playing on a traditional golf course. There's still a lot of low line drives on the golf course, but obviously the Beast is so loved by the disc golf fans and the players alike. So nice variety here at Waco.
Klein's forehand is into the side of the hill. Short range coming up for birdie. That was pretty close to an eagle throw in there for Robinson. And Nate, you were just talking about the Elite Plus event. You know, there's extra points, so to speak, on the line. There's extra money that's going to be involved with this. This is a 4-round tournament, so gaining a little additional momentum is huge here early in the season. So Emerson, uphill, eagle look.
And it is pretty severely uphill. He's going to really have to pop this one high.
And Eagle Daddy has done it. Emerson in for the Eagle.
I think an advantage there for Emerson was the fact that he was just outside the circle, able to do his step putt, give it plenty of power, and boy, wasn't far off for missing. But it doesn't matter. There's no pictures on the scorecards, as they like to say, although we do have this covered live. So,
and the rest will have to just settle for their tap-in birdies. So that card playing hole number 7, 5 under. Wysocki has a par look on 9, and he knew it. It was about 2/3 of the way there, and Wysocki was ready to retrieve it.
That's giving me eerie feelings of a couple of years ago when Ricky was just way out of position. He didn't even know where he was, and all of a sudden he popped out and saved par. Does it again. It's a confidence boost for Ricky. If I had $1 for every time I've seen Ricky do that, well, I'd have about $600. All right, the leader of the tournament, not afraid, although this is not a good shot, Terry. I saw that penetrate into the woods, and I'm going to assume he is going to be out of bounds. And I will say it is a very difficult upshot from the far right on 18. So a possible double bogey upcoming as well. Here's Keith.
Can he follow it up with another eagle? That's going to just be a tap-in birdie. So Emerson Keith making very light work here of hole number 8.
Yeah, 8 is a pretty similar shot to hole 6. It's a little bit shorter, and the green is a little bit more tricky with the slope on the right side.
This is tracking to the pin and just over the top. And we've seen that tree in years past act as a backstop in the favor of the players. And that's exactly what happened there for Kyle Klein. Otherwise, that was going to be another 30 feet past the pin. Clean but short for Barela.
Yeah, just didn't get enough power on it to get it to flip up to flat. Just kind of floundered out to the left side there. That's got enough power on it.
And that tree was trying to help put the brakes on.
You can see the difference between the shot of Barela and the shot of Robinson. Really, it was just that little flip up, and so it's flying flat and forward versus flexing out to the left side. Clean, it's good, and it just hits a late tree. Gotta be careful with the rollaway here for AB. Anything off the right side of the basket can roll down into that little goalie on the right side.
Or you can just slam it home. AB drills it from long range.
That's a huge bonus putt there for Anthony Barela. You see full commitment, falling forward, never left the heart of the chains.
Klein does take advantage of the tree as the backstop.
Hey, there he is, Terry.
I
Hey,
thought he was
Sexton.
sitting right next to me, but I guess not.
I'm the other Nate. I keep telling you this. I'm the Nate without a beard.
But the one with 3 world titles. So let's see what Sexton can do here.
Fun fact, Sexton and I are just 15 days apart. And he's the older Nate of the two. So I usually defer to him on a lot of life lessons and stuff like that.
That's a good call. Robinson in for the birdie.
Six down through 8 for Emerson. Hole number 10 is one of my favorites on this course, Terry. I love the long, flowing fairway that follows that hyzer line on a backhand. That's a nice one from Ricky.
So this is his 3rd shot after going OB, and this is floating off to the left side. That might be out of bounds again.
And
what is happening?
That's what I was alerting our fans at home to. When you're on that far right side, double bogey, 2 out of bounds can easily come into play. That's the risk of going out of bounds over there on that right side.
And that was hunting to the cameraman.
Are these guys playing to try to hit the crowd behind the pins? They've had some heat coming into these baskets.
This is just an easy little chip shot for Rick. Even after catching a late tree, still leaves him in short range for birdie.
Oh, what a skip. That was amazing.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Oh my goodness. It was on a hyzer, but that skip just bounced it and got all the way down to the corner. He's in great position now. As you're looking down this fairway, you see that cameraman way down at the bottom. That's where these guys are trying to get, but it's not that easy. And from a great skip to a horrible kick, Kyle Klein going to be in that left side rough. From that position, he's going to be trying to just battle for par.
Not the worst reaction for as much as he pulled that on the inside. If it had that pulled it into the woods on the right, it could have been even worse.
Yeah, both of them, the last two, had been released too far to the right. This is perfectly on line. Can it get clean? No, but not a horrible kick. He's down in the corner there. Still an outside chance to make birdie from down on that side of the fairway. But let's take another look at this skip for Emerson. It was low left. Wow.
It looked like he even skipped almost up into the right for him. Yeah. You just couldn't ask for a better reaction off the ground there. Sexton trying to get around the corner on 17. And he's done so, leaving him a short range birdie look. I think about what we saw from Wysocki and just how short his approach was versus what we just saw by Hammes, who had to put a little bit of mustard on that one. Does that carry all the way around, trying to frame it up right there. James Conrad going big on 18. Does he have enough to clear it? Yes, he does. James Conrad on the dance floor looking to close out with a birdie.
Wow, what a shot from James. Okay, there we see the disc come out to the corner beautifully at that position. Still a challenging shot from that point to get up to the pin. You got to navigate several large trees and coming back up the hill. But Klein plays it nice and safe, puts himself in position.
Should be a birdie for Kevin Jones. It's a 3-pack. He's cleaning up on 10. Hammes moves to 5 under.
So it's a difficult shot. You have those big trees to miss towards the end, but it also slopes uphill and from left to right. Nice shot there from Isaac.
I'd like to ask Perkins out there, Nate, talk to us about how good this shot is from Emerson Keith.
Yeah, I mean, amazing piece of ground play there, as you guys were noting. Just a perfect little anti-skip, and then it actually, Terry, I feel like the skip was almost too good. He's on the back end of this bowl, but one of Emerson's better shots is the reach out forehand, so I think he'll be able to get crafty and throw a little baby flex into here. But pretty fun skip to watch.
Yeah, and that's a good point, is you could actually go too far and almost miss the elbow or the bend here, and that's maybe what we're going to see from Emerson and how far that one carried. Still, I don't think there's a player in the field that would argue with landing there after one shot, considering some players struggle to get there in 2 or 3. Klein gets hung up short of the green. We've seen things go from bad to worse.
Yes.
With people trying to make recovery shots from here. So AB has a very, very small window of shots that will actually work here. Otherwise, he could bury himself big time.
Yeah.
And he gets lucky, even though he hits a tree, he gets lucky to still basically stay in the fairway. That could have easily kicked 50 feet off the fairway and cost him an extra stroke or 2. We've seen it so many times throughout the years.
Yeah,
now Wysocki on 11.
Couldn't agree with you more there, Tara. That was a scary shot there for AB. All right, Rick gets to the top of the hill. He'll have to navigate that big tree.
Sexton tapping in for the easy birdie. Sexton on your leaderboard there, 11 under. This is what Perkins was talking about. He went too far, so to speak. but still has the
Not much else to do.
forehand.
Hope he can jump in. Yeah.
It looks like that landed right in the hillside and didn't carry anywhere, did it?
There's a big root that crosses the hillside right there. He hit that thing and just stopped, but he'll still have a look at birdie. Speaking of birdies, there's Matty O.
Ricky has the birdie look. I mean, just center, perfect height, everything looking good for Wysocki there. And James Conrad will close out on 18 with a birdie. That means he's going to finish at 12 under, currently tied for hot round, along with Nicholas Antala and Greg Barsby. Remember, Robinson was at 13 as he headed into the final hole. Walked away with the double bogey.
So there's the root that you can see Emerson hit.
Seemed to be the root of the problem there. I do not believe he's going to walk away with a par after that drive. That's heartbreaking.
I can kind of see what Emerson was dealing with. That one tree just coming in just to bother the players just enough. This will be a good putt if it's made from Klein.
And really never a doubt for Klein.
That's a really good save for Kyle Klein. At times on hole 9, it can feel like a birdie just making par.
And wasn't it, this was the one blemish that Greg Barsby had on his scorecard, and it sounded like he was just getting a little aggressive, maybe, you know, thinking about how hot his score was, getting aggressive with his shot, and then ended up pulling it into a tree, he said, and turned it into a bogey. Back with Zach Nash. This is up ahead on 11. Oh, that's a solid putt as well. Slow but steady here for Zachary Nash. He goes to 3 under.
Yeah, but you can see 3 unders putting him currently in a tie for 81st. You gotta make more birdies here on this course, but a big putt. You never want to turn that away.
Expecting the hyper-aggressive play here from Sexton. We know he's going after this one.
I think he's trying to play it safe. That does not look good. He's going to need some help to stay in bounds, and he's going to deal with that same issue, even if he's in bounds, Terry, that Robinson dealt with, that the water can come into play.
Now let's take a look at hole number 10. Some would call it a signature hole. Nate, you said this is one of your favorite holes on the course.
Definitely one of my favorite. I absolutely love the way it's framed up. Beautiful grass here in the woods. And as I was saying earlier, it kind of just flows really nice for a really powerful hyzer flip up. If you can get around these middle 3 trees, that's what we saw Ricky do. He finished up here to the left, made it a very, very easy shot. It is a tricky green. This tree right here comes into play a lot more than you would think. And the green is sloping from left to right, or excuse me, from right to left with a slope on the left side of the basket. All right, Isaac gets just past that middle set of trees.
Tough to tell if that was an early release based on a slip or if it just came out of his hand early. I thought it looked like there was some slip at the last moment there. But either way, that's going to be trouble for Emerson. Nice control drive coming out of Klein. And well, he's about to be right next to Robinson. And that may have been a more favorable kick for him.
But him being on the right side, it's going to bring that little tree I was talking about into play. But still a fortunate kick to get away from being right next to that big tree in the middle.
Left side trouble for Barela.
Hole number 12, one of the most difficult entire course. That little flare is actually quite nice for Ricky. Keep him on the left side of the fairway, still with a potential angle at attacking the fairway.
And Jake Wolf had aced earlier in the day back on hole number 5. He's currently sitting at 7 under with 2 holes left to play. Somebody tells me we have footage of said ace. Let's take a look.
Oh, and he's going to go with the sidearm.
Jake's the sidearming, overhanding specialist. Just a little flick. That's all it is. Jake Wolf, congrats on the ace.
Awesome. Oh boy. Good roll out there for Emerson, but this is going to be a long third shot with still a ton of trees between him and the basket. Not looking good for Emerson.
And a good recovery shot there for Sexton. He did go out of bounds, so it looks like he should be saving the bogey to close out.
I mean, you can see here what Emerson has left. I think the best shot to get to the pin is going to be some sort of flip-up shot through the middle gap, but he's got to just barely miss that far tree on the left side. Still a long ways away from the pin as well. Oh, I like it, Ter.
That's going to track. It's going to ultimately fall down off of the green, so he'll be at circle's edge, but more importantly, he has a chance to save the par.
Yeah, I think that was a really nice shot there from Emerson. Great commitment. Just didn't get enough flip on it, but still a long chance to save par.
And that's Orem with his second shot on 15. Big thanks to our friends at FlightFactoryDisc.com, providing all of our drone aerial coverage throughout our 2024 season. Tour in Texas in the next few weeks. Also going to be seeing a major, our first major of the year with the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship taking place in 2 weeks. That also right here in Texas.
Yeah, Terry, the month of March is Texas proud, right? We've got 3 Disc Golf Pro Tours and the major, like you said. It's exciting.
South by Southwest, I believe, kicking off in a few days. per Nate Perkins' intel earlier in the day. Now here's Barela. You gotta love that.
Yeah, he took a little mac, but it didn't really affect the flight too much. It kind of just kicked it out and forward, but kept the same angle he put on it.
Catching up with Vino Macula. This is a birdie look. Up on 12. Not a problem.
That red's going to be a problem, Terry. 3 bogeys in the front 9. He's going to have to do some work here as he heads out into the open.
Yeah, he lost 4 strokes to Jake Wolf on hole number 5. Yeah. That one alone.
So you can see Isaac was able to just basically play a straight little shot. Klein's going to have to go to that little turnover just to avoid that tree. Played it a little too wide there. Going to have a lot left for his birdie. That's the problem with being on that right side.
We've got Nate Sexton stepping up. That would ultimately be his only blemish on the scorecard, as he carded 11 birdies, finishes 10 under. Great work there for Nate Sexton. Just 2 off the lead right now at 10 under. Waisaki's second one gets hung up, kicks toward the fairway at least.
Yeah, but you really don't complain too much about that tear. Hole 12 is such a challenging hole. What a putt, and it does not stay in. Come on, that was a good looking putt there, Ter.
What?
Great effort from Klein. That really was a good putt.
Yeah, that one I would argue with. if I was talking to that basket, I'd have a stern conversation with it, because that, of course, it was coming in hot. Kyle Klein typically putts with a little bit of speed. And I'm not one to second guess a lot of putts that come out, but that one, yeah, I might have an argument with that basket. Nobody wants a stern talking to from me, that's for sure. I promise you that. Emerson scratching and clawing, trying to get out of here with a par. Not a problem. Dead center for Emerson Keith. That is a scrappy par.
And, you know, the biggest topic for Emerson so far has been the eagle that he took on 7. But I would put that close behind. Saving that par, not giving up a stroke in the woods, there is huge.
There's never a doubt for Isaac. Klein just thinking, what did I do wrong? I thought I had it. And it was a solid putt.
I gotta watch that putt again in slow-mo.
All right, they're having the same second guesses that we were. Here's Oram. He has a long birdie look on 16.
Come on, man.
Oh, no, tries to run it in. It's not there. Does Rick have a birdie from downtown? He had the power, just not quite the angle. So we're going to take a look at our top 10. Greg Barsby still in front. He's out there with James Conrad, along with Niklas Antala. Ezra Robinson sits at 11. Sexton and Joey Buckets both at 10 under. Orem trying to fight his way up. Orem's going to get most tiebreakers. He's got one of the lowest PDGA numbers in the field. Corey Ellis back in the States after a long trip in New Zealand. Robinson will have an uphill putt for birdie.
Hole 11 is one of the more difficult holes to park because of its position on this hillside. You know, the backhand just has that spin that takes it away from the pin. The trick here for Emerson going to the sidearm is it's going to come back into that hillside if he can get it clean.
Trying to climb up the hillside. He'll be framed up and have a small window there for that uphill putt. And as we're getting deeper into the back nine, let's take a look at Nate's keys for closing, which will be brought to us by our friends over at Black Ink Disc, the premium disc golf store.
All right, here we go. Wind direction, super critical, definitely goes into your game planning. You're going to remember that from hole 1 and 2. Flip the switch. As soon as you come out those holes, out the woods on 12, going to 13, you want to flip that switch. And as I said, holes 13 through 18, this is such a critical position because if you've played well up to this point, that's a stretch of birdies you want to get. But if you haven't, you definitely want to get those birdies to stay in the tournament.
And that one finds the bottom of the basket. What a putt by Klein.
Gosh, he's been putting good. I mean, that's 2 in a row from distance. The one on the previous hole should have stayed. And that one stays beautifully.
Klein doing work with the putter.
No words necessary for that one, Terry. You could see it in the reaction from Emerson. So close. Great effort.
Never a doubt again for Robinson. Emerson will be the only one to not birdie. as we saw AB connect as well for birdie, along with Klein and Robinson. So they'll make their way to the next hole. And I believe it was just last year, we had Jared Stoll going over the top on 17, and it looks like he's done it again.
This is insane. Was that a replay from last year? It was final round last year, too. Oh, my goodness. This is amazing. Look at where he's throwing.
And I remember talking to him during an event during this off season, and he said, yeah, and I missed the putt. And we said, well, you did, but it was still one of the greatest drives that we saw all year long.
I don't think he's missing this putt, Tara. Look at how close he's going to end up. It's just dropping out of the sky. That's a 10-footer. He's going to make that. Come on, give the kid an eagle.
And the spotter just, yeah, great. A few people in the world that can do what Jared Stoll just did. Here's Wysocki now on the tee.
I mean, I would argue one. He's the only one. A, that's willing to try it.
Yeah, that too.
And B, execute it.
Doing so multiple times now, too. All right, these guys are hung up for a moment. Perkins, I want to throw it out to you because we had a delay due to weather today, and then there was the threat of maybe not finishing in the dark. How do you feel like the pace is going so far? Are we still worried about that?
I feel like the sunset is somewhat looming in the background of the players' minds. The sun sets at 6:30 here in Waco. It's, we've got a little over an hour. We've just got one more hole in the wood quick, and the wind has significantly diminished. But the card in front of this featured card is 3 holes ahead, so I don't think anyone on the card takes too long, but curious to see how much space they have in front of them.
Appreciate it. Nate, sure everyone, and we talked about this last year, of course, come Idlewild and a few other events, everyone thinking about how they'd really like to get their round completed because none of these guys would like to come back out super early tomorrow morning. And, well, selfishly, I don't think our media crew really wants to either. But we got to keep up with the pace of play here as Barela is in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, I think they'll get it in. I mean, as Perkins said, we have just over an hour. The pace of play has been pretty good. Just 7 holes left to play. They'll get it. This looks good. Oh, yeah. Dead center.
Orem with the forehand tee shot. I thought it was around the tree.
I feel like there wasn't even a budget win.
He gets caught up short. Jones going with the forehand.
Oh, no. That's OB.
If it's OB and or off of, missing the Mando.
Right.
And Jared Stoll taps in for the eagle. Unbelievable.
Just the way that it drops out of the sky. Completely out of the view right here. Oink. Perfect.
I mean, the only way it gets better is when that bounces in tomorrow, or excuse me, in 2 days.
Yeah.
And we have to have it on camera.
If that happens, that'd be one of the most unlikely birdies of all time. Or aces, excuse me. Here's Barela. The backhand is tough. You got to try to, it's got to get back to straight at the end of its flight. So close. If he misses that last tree on the corner, he's going to kind of work his way forward, give himself an outside look at birdie. 12, traditionally one of the most difficult holes here. And of all the players that are in the top 10, only Nate Sexton birdied here on hole number 12.
I want to share something else that's maybe a little crazy. That's not Jared's first eagle of the round. He also eagled back on hole number 13.
What? Wow. That's a good eagle. It is a tailwind on 13, and the guy obviously has power, but
yeah,
there's the scorecard.
We take a look, and Jared Stoll eagles on both 13 and 17.
So I say flip the switch once you get to 13 through 18. I mean,
Jared's flipping it to lights out. I think that's the switch he's flipping.
He's 600 through those 5 holes so far. Amazing.
Here's Wysocki. Just a little chip shot right next to the pin, or just deep of the pin. Shouldn't be a problem for him.
Yeah, 13's one of those holes that if you're playing with a tailwind, eagle comes into play. A headwind, a birdie is very difficult. Let's see if Klein can find the proper line here. Got to play it pretty wide, but it's got to straighten out at the end. If you were to take the average between Barela and Klein, it would be perfect.
There you see our players, many of them out there with their umbrellas. Emerson trying to play the flex line, get this to turn over, and then just kind of flatten, carry straight to the pin once it makes the bend.
Oh no. All of a sudden now double bogey comes into play for Emerson Keith. And it's a huge mistake, Terry, because as you're standing over that shot, the one tree you cannot hit, especially if you're going to go with the turnover, is that big white tree that he hit. Because the angle and the spin is just going to immediately send you deep into the woods. Probably just a pitch out from there.
Oram trying to get himself in position to set up for a potential par save at best.
Yeah, bogey's coming into play for Matty O here as well. He's going to have to make a really good third shot to get up and down for par.
Nate, do you have any eyes on what Emerson Keith is looking at?
I'm with Doss on this one. I think that Emerson out. It gets pretty thick on that side of the fairway, and pretty critical air right there by Amer Daddy.
We'll see if he can manufacture anything to get out.
If you're going to go aggressive, you better make sure you're clean at least back to the fairway.
Yeah, you cannot be hung up short is what you're saying.
Oh, wow. Nice shot.
Yeah, he'll have a chance to save the par.
All right, so he had a line, and like I said, if you're going to go aggressive like that, you got to get clean, and he did a nice job there.
And Wysocki has a long look for birdie on 14. I don't know what he's doing way back here.
He won't be super happy with that because, you know, that's one of the easier birdie holes as you're out into the open, especially when you're playing it with a tailwind.
And speaking of being out in the open, Perkins, is there some other noises going on? Something else is happening in that area? What do you got for us?
Yeah, there's a noise that resembles like low rolling thunder, and it's actually the SpaceX rocket testing facility just 30 miles away in McGregor, Texas, and every now and then you can hear it rumbling in the distance.
Something that's probably good to know, otherwise you're constantly thinking about, oh, is that some kind of weather delay that might be looming around us? But great insight there by Perkins. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's where they test a lot of the rockets that are able to land on their own. They do what's called hopping, where they'll send it, 500-600 feet up and then have it come back down and land. So kind of an interesting fun fact.
I mean, if you ain't rocket hopping in Texas, I don't know if you're living, right?
I just can't wait to see the first disc in space, Terry.
So the pitch is successful there by Robinson.
And, you could hear the frustration earlier in Robinson's voice about the second shot. But honestly, at the end of the day, parring here on 12 is similar to the par on 9, and then it at times can feel like a birdie if you're not in the perfect position, if you get off the fairway. So I think par's okay here.
Emerson to save par. Certainly wasn't short with the power.
Yeah, still not in for bogey. This is a little bit left on the bone here for Emerson Keith.
Now back with Oram throwing his third. Still the chance to save the par. That'll give him a putt inside the circle. So a couple of good recovery shots there for Oram. Limits the damage to a single bogey.
Got to think of AB. He's going to have the power to potentially get the 2 on 13 as well on 15.
We're heading back into the open section of the course. First, commercial break. We'll be right back.
Let's go.
The team you support from the stands now finds a place in your heart. Seasons change, the game remains. Prodigy Disc and the NHL, where disc golf and hockey live.
Back, we have Adam Hammis on the tee of 15.
Good power.
Yeah, puts a good move on this. That's inside circle too.
Yeah, that's up there where we saw Conrad and Girthy earlier.
Robinson, tee of 13.
This looks really nice. Can it be clean? Yep. Have a long look at Eagle. Hole 13, 555 feet. With the tailwind, very much in the range of most of our pros. That's high. Somehow hits nothing, Terry.
Very little, yeah, and it looks like it's going to be pretty similar to Robinson. Now with Wysocki on 15. It's the coming from the pitch zone. I don't even think his Raptor legs will extend that far. But he's surprised us before. Here's Klein, 13.
This is the best one of the bunch so far. High on the hill, yes. Nice shot by Kyle Klein. You can see the way he was able to push it a little bit more forward, having it turn over. It's going to push him closer to the pin.
We see this as it goes down the tunnel and then pushes off to the left side. And did he just outdrive everyone else?
Man, he missed several trees through the small window. It wasn't a great release point. And there you go. through the uprights.
The internet's been challenging me to call him Eagle Daddy again, and if he puts this one in, he's going to get the call.
I hope we can just capitalize and make the putt after hitting a little gap like that and getting lucky.
He's thinking about it, that's for sure.
And now an eagle look for Hammes. This is just about the middle of circle too, so 45, maybe 50 feet at most. Online, but just drops out from underneath.
There, with that powerful tailwind, it is so hard to really give it a full go from in that 45, 50-foot range, because you have to put it so high that if the wind doesn't drop it, you could definitely go a little bit too long. Not surprised to see that one come up short.
Okay, so Robinson's draws some metal. Looks like AB and Klein are about the same distance, but AB's going to go first. And AB draws metal. Klein for eagle. A solid bit at that. Catching up with Corey Ellis, who's on the green of 18. This is a circle 2 look. Not going to happen. Now, Emerson for eagle. All right, well, Wysocki left a little on that. Emerson cleans up for the birdie. So a star frame for our final feature card.
Well, you can see by just going past the pin there, Ricky having to deal with that crosswind off his right. Wasn't that easy of a putt, but still got the birdie.
Continues to sprinkle birdies throughout the scorecard. He's at 8 under.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that too, Terry. He hasn't gone on the streak that we're so used to seeing him, go on, and but still, he hasn't made any big mistakes either.
Oram played the layup off the tee. Make sure this has enough distance to get all the way to the pin. And that is going to be out of bounds.
Way too high for Isaac Robinson. It's going to stick up in the tree. If you have the sidearm, this can be really effective here. You can just kind of put it on a nice angle. You can see how open it is once you get past those first couple of trees. And with the sidearm, it comes back into the hillside nicely. But with the backhand, it's a little cleaner until you get to that last third of the fairway. Klein's got to avoid those, but now it's completely wide open once he gets past that. Perfect execution.
Called it, Doss. That forehand looks so effortless when thrown correctly, as we just saw. So Oram moves up to where he was last inbounds. Now he's going over the water again.
That doesn't have the juice.
No, he doesn't put enough on it.
Way to the nose angle with that crosswind. It didn't have the juice on it. That's literally the one mistake you cannot make. From the upshot previously, and then that one. Overcorrect? No, it does overcorrect a little bit.
But like you were
Safe.
just saying, you'd rather, yeah, you at least go long to make sure you get to the other side.
Wow, that's going to be a lot of strokes for Matteo. Unnecessary.
Awkward stance is what prevents Robinson from capitalizing. You can see how uncomfortable he looked with that putt. Good birdie pickup there for Barela.
Yeah, I mean, Barela came out of the woods at 6 under. If he can take advantage, maybe get 5 of the 6 in the Open, he could easily be at 11 under, just one shot back of the lead. Similar situation for Emerson, who came out of the woods at 5 under.
Robinson will tap in for the lone par, and they're going to make a long walk over to hole number 15.
This is a scary putt, Terry, because he's putting back towards the water, and there's a real sense of urgency to make this because you've already gone out of bounds twice.
And he hits left side. And that's going to roll out of bounds. Oh my goodness. Oram.
No way.
He's working the opposite of the 9 to 5 on 17 and 18. What a terrible close. We're going to close out the show and have more action, though, on the other side of the break. We'll see you there.
Introducing Fractal Line Discs from Prodigy. Fractal is the new visual treatment joining spectrum, glimmer, and glow, flashing colors in a complex motif. It's calming, chaotic, and completely one of a kind. Learn more at prodigydisc.com.
An important part of getting a PDJ membership is helping grow the game. Membership dollars are used to bolster competition of all levels, from local C-tiers to majors. Tools like Digital Scorecard and Tournament Manager help events run seamlessly. Your PDJ membership also gives you access to Disc Golf Network coverage for select events and a 50% discount to their full coverage package. Help grow the sport and get started today. Visit pdja.com/join.
You Play Disc Golf is your passport to teaching and learning the game. Our mission? To teach disc golf and make it accessible to everyone worldwide. From Alaska to Africa, Guatemala to Canada, and beyond, You Play Disc Golf has spread its wings, teaching the love of the game across the globe. Get involved in our movement to make disc golf a universal joy. Explore youplaydiscgolf.org and join us in helping people find flight.
And Ricky Wysocki is on the tee of 16. He's going to go up and over.
It's really the only shot.
It gets hung up, but he stays safe. Just has to trust it more and hang it out. Wysocki from a knee, though. What a solid bid. He's going to have to walk away with the par, but gives this a good run. Just barely over the edge of the basket. And as they line up and get into position, I'm going to throw it out to Nate Perkins for a moment. Nate, I feel like we just skipped a hole. What's going on out there?
Yeah, Terry, again, I'm going to repeat, we kind of have to shed a tear for the classic hole 15. Not the most aesthetically pleasing on camera, but it was the hole that we played playoffs on, and you know, spectators could walk up the road, see 18, look over, see people trying to go for the eagle there. It makes sense. Now they have it turned into Vendor Alley, and then water, so.
Now we're with new hole 15, or newly numbered 15, and then we also know there's a new 16.
A little surprising to see the tee shot of Barela. He went with a disc that was very overstable and tried to use just all of his power to try to get it to ride that wind to the pin. He's going to be way left.
And you're surprised at that because this is a tailwind and that's not the disc you'd expect him to use?
Well, no, I don't mind the overstability, but he just, you really want to try to attack this hole and potentially get yourself an eagle, especially with AB's power. I just don't think you're going to get all the way back to the pin with that overstable of a disc.
Safe shot for Robinson.
See how powerful that wind really is.
Oh, hey. Get in. Get on.
Oh, okay. And as we're seeing him ask for it to get in, that is what used to be referred to as a draught. Disc resting on top, and that does not count. That is not a valid putt, or it does. He'll still have to mark it and then ultimately use another stroke to get it into the basket. So that is not good.
Though it is 10 times more difficult to do.
It is. Very much so.
So this is a beautiful view of really what the guys are looking at as they head down the fairway. That right side pathway is out of bounds, so that's kind of what those guys are trying to avoid by playing way off to the left. But we've seen those aggressive shots get all the way up into circle 2. But this group, they all played back at this point without a miracle throw-in. We're looking at really just birdies potential here on 15. There's a couple of these trees. They're really hard to see. You can see it right here in the center of your screen and that next one and those two on the right. They make that power shot just a little bit more tricky than just full-on blasting it out there.
No trickery there. Emerson Keith will be next to the pin for a tap-in birdie.
This seems about the most significant the wind has really been of anybody we've seen playing this hole. Little tailwind pushes Kyle a little long. He's going to have to make a putt back into the headwind.
I know you were talking about the disc choice. Kind of surprising to see AB not have much closer eagle bid.
Yeah, absolutely. And then from there, he's going to leave himself with that putt. Now, the distance doesn't look all that challenging, but look at that flag. That's going to be a dead headwind putt for Anthony Barela.
15 is playing as the third easiest hole on the course. Here's Luke Humphreys. And he should love that. Inside circle, 1 for Luke Humphreys. If he can convert, that would be his 5th birdie in a row. Now back with Barela, who's left a little bit on this.
Well, but the wind has died down a little bit right now. It's not as powerful as it was just moments ago.
And prior to that, we saw 68 of our MPO competitors have taken birdie here, and we've seen 2 eagles. So it's one you absolutely don't want to be parring because you're losing so much to the field. Connor Rock, we saw that eagle. Elijah Bickle also eagled this. Klein for birdie. I feel pretty confident in the star frame coming up here. Short range left for Isaac Robinson. Luke Humphreys for 5 birdies in a row and 8 of the last 9.
Talk about flipping the switch. He's done exactly what we talked about, Terry. He's birdied everything 13 through 17, and the challenge of that new 16 to birdie that one. That's a good run for Luke Humphreys. Ricky's got to get back in bounds.
That's going to be OB for Wysocki.
Huge mistake for Ricky. That he'll be way back. And there's the scorecard of Luke. It's an impressive connection because of the birdie on 16. To follow that up with a birdie on 17, it's good stuff. Because you can look. I mean, he came out of the woods, Terry, at 5 down. But now he's in the tournament. You know, he's in the top 10. It's good work.
And Wysocki has to make sure he doesn't turn this into something way worse.
Yeah.
And now he's just landed at really where he wishes his original tee shot would be.
No question. So basically the best that Ricky can do now is double. Right? He's got to throw.
That was his third, so throws down for
single.
4. He's looking at a single, and that's
at
what
best,
you're saying,
yeah.
at best.
Thank you, Terry.
Oh,
Correction.
no.
Oh, no.
Humphreys finding the water. Just as he gets to double digits under par, Luke is out of bounds. He'll have the chance to still get the bogey. Now we're with Barela. Clears the trees and gets the kick right to the pin. Barela birdieing hole 16. It's coming up.
Yeah, so that's going to put AB on that same connection where he's going to get the birdie on 16. Awesome.
Jacob Curtis has slapped on the old caddy bib out there helping out his buddy Barela.
You know, Nate Perkins, being that this is a new hole for us, how aggressive do these players have to go out over the water to get the birdie?
Yeah, I mean, the prevailing wind right now, it's coming out of the southwest, so it's a strong head left to right, pretty much the worst wind. When you get this thing up in the air, it's not going to let it swing back in. We saw Anthony and Kyle kind of take it over the trees, not swinging it as much.
Good insight there from Perkins. That's why you're seeing these players go inside, because that crosswind's going to kind of push it down and to the right as it starts to finish.
That is inbounds for Emerson. He's going to be short, but he's still inbounds. I think he's going to be in that kind of the neighborhood of where we saw Wysocki's birdie attempt from. Maybe just a few feet closer. Robinson going up and over. Or trying to, but he comes up short. And, Nate, I have to ask, what is Isaac going to be able to do from there? Does he go up the gut, or is he still going to try and go around with the second shot?
Yeah, that's worst case kick right there for Isaac. He's in no man's land. He doesn't quite have the tunnel on the left, and I think he might be too close to the wall of trees. My guess is that he tries to get crafty with a turnover through the woods.
Thanks, Nate. And I think that did look like worst case scenario. Here's Kevin Jones on 17. Jones is going to be out of bounds. Well, it looks like he did find at least an alley here. I mean, it doesn't look pleasant or very inviting, but he does find some open space here. Here it clipping branches the whole way, and what a recovery shot.
Wow. Look at what he had to beat at the end. I mean, there was like 7 trees that he just was able to navigate past. You know,
we heard it clipping
right
branches.
there. Look, a branch just fell. Mistake avoided. That was not the best tee shot, but also a big sigh of relief for Isaac.
Now Rick has to be so careful here, because if you go out over the water and he doesn't even mess with the water. Now he's pushing too far to the right, but the ground gobbles it up pretty quickly. So Wysocki has that left for bogey. I just think about what we're seeing here on now 16, 17, and 18, and all the drama that's unfolded. And some of these rounds have been just crushed. And right now, Luke Humphreys is trying to hold on for dear life to his incredible scorecard.
If you're Luke, 20 feet long, you got to go long here.
Can't make the mistake we saw from Orem. And he's gone more like 40 long, and he's out of bounds again. Oh, no.
And he's going to have that putt now for double.
And Emerson is right where Wysocki was, low ceiling, forced just to pitch it up. Wow. It's with almost every shot we're seeing, my heart just breaks a little bit more for the next person.
That's the first really bad putt we've seen from Kyle all day long. Huge missed opportunity. That would have taken Klein to 11.
To think that Kyle's going to get the same score as Isaac is almost crazy.
Right there, that could be the tee shot of the day. Of course, nothing's going to beat that overhand on 17 that we saw earlier, but this is what a shot from AB.
As we take a look at it, thanks to our Flight Factory drone. Just trusting it, and then getting a little love at the end. Little tree love never hurt anybody in Texas.
Is it a scary proposition that that birdie just took AB to 10 down? Just 2 shots behind the lead, and remember, we're playing a golf course, 2 of the rounds. You know, Anthony's game it's on point right now. That being said, you still got to get past 17 and 18. Oh, nice putt by Luke. All right, so just a double bogey.
Wysocki trying to save single bogey. So Rick's momentum will come to a screeching halt. Wow. No scores are safe at the Beast. We'll be right back.
You Play Disc Golf is your passport to teaching and learning the game. Our mission? To teach disc golf and make it accessible to everyone worldwide. From Alaska to Africa, Guatemala to Canada, and beyond, You Play Disc Golf has spread its wings teaching the love of the game across the globe. Get involved in our movement to make disc golf a universal joy. Explore youplaydiscgolf.org and join us in helping people find flight.
To reinvent means looking to the future, seeing greatness for a new generation. With the passion to perform and the talent to win. The time is now. The future is here.
I'm beyond excited to introduce my first disc with MVP, the Prism Proton Envy, also known as Rebirth. I absolutely love the fact that my name's on it and I'm going to be able to throw it. It's an incredible disc.
What is the simplest way to improve your disc golf game? The answer, learn from the very best. Paul Ulibarri, Simon Lizotte, Ezra Aderhold, and Holland Hanley. They're not just players, they are your elite coaches guiding you every step of the way. The Power Disc Golf Academy is the premier online disc golf academy with over 150 on-demand lessons that are specifically designed to improve your skills right now. So what are you waiting for? Join today at powerdga.com.
The 2024 Prodigy Signature Series are here. The Signature Series explores the evolution of flight and captures our players' personalities along the journey. From prehistoric to flying machines, the theme for the 2024 Signature Series has some incredible artwork on some amazing pieces of plastic. Get yours March 22nd on ProdigyDisc.com and at your local retailer.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Now with Adam Hammes, T of 18, and Adam's going for it.
If it's got the distance, it's going to be perfect.
And it is. Adam Hammes with a park job to close out.
What a shot. One of the best ones we've seen so far today on 18. You're gaining strokes on the field right there, folks.
7 on Matty O.
That's unfair to Matt.
It is, and I'm not picking on him, but that was just brutal.
This is scary. This could be way OB. Oh, no.
Yeah, he's not moving anywhere.
He might want to rethrow from there because he's going to walk up to an even worse lie.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, just staying back on the line.
Oh, boy. Isaac has not made a mistake all day. He's got a clean sheet, but not anymore.
This is the most nerve-wracking shot of the day so far for Barela.
How fortunate for him to stay in bounds right there. I mean, had he gotten clean, he might have been OB right. He could have kicked left OB there. This is the reason why everybody loves watching the Beast. This finishing set of holes is pretty treacherous.
Yeah, and I know there has been some challenge. People have said they'd really like to see this be our finishing holes for the tournament, but the tournament is growing and evolving and developing, and some of that means having more space for spectators and heading over to the other course that we'll see in rounds 2 and rounds 4. Yes, this does provide tons of excitement, and we're hoping to see some exciting fireworks come Sunday, but also we need the space. The spectators need the room out there that we'll find over at Lake Waco.
Good commitment there. Great shot from Emerson Keith. Commitment for him to throw at that water, trust his disc, trust that the wind is going to bring it across.
Perkins, what are we seeing out here from Isaac?
Well, Isaac has backed his lie up, and he's going for the same shot, guys. Baby Annie once again out of the hand. The wind just not letting it swing back. Spotter's going to run over there and check it. I think that he's going to get the green flag on this one. But I just have to ask you guys in the booth, like, is that Isaac in that moment to try and throw that hyzer out over the OB with the ripping left to right crosswind?
I certainly question it. What we're seeing from the spotter, they're putting up both flags, and what that indicates to the players and to the rest of us is that it's too close for the spotter to call. So the spotter's not making a definitive distinction one way or another, and the player and the players, the rest of the group, will have to make the official call there because it wasn't obvious to the spotter.
Yeah. Look, this is the third shot from Klein. It's one of those things where we're seeing some of the limitation of a two-time major champion and world champion Isaac Robinson. He doesn't have a sidearm. He went with that shot up and over the top. You know, I'm not going to question him. He knows his own game, but that is a risky shot to go for it not only once but twice. Very nice from Anthony.
Looking to escape with a par.
Now, the one thing we know is that Isaac did hit inbounds over here. So the question will be, is he inbounds or not?
Yeah, did he land and come to rest inbounds? So we'll have to see what conversation is had and just how close this really is. I feel like the spotter was right there, so for him not to be able to decipher it.
There was no conversation.
I guess not, apparently.
Apparently OB.
And this is going to get up and roll towards the OB, but it stops. This is unraveling for Isaac. Perkins, can you confirm or not if ultimately Isaac was in bounds?
Yeah, so his disc was all the way in. It was just touching the OB line, and the specific spotter wasn't sure of the rule there, but Isaac was in bounds.
Appreciate it. And really a great move. That's for everybody to know at home. If you're doing some spotting and you're not certain, kind of giving that that indication allows the group to make sure that they make the decision on it. You don't want to call it wrong. But now Robinson from short range misses.
Isaac is going to go from 4th to outside the top 10.
A triple bogey for Isaac Robinson. Just pulled it right. I mean, there's not much to say to it. He just missed it to the right. Wysocki, tee of 18.
Ricky's going to have the sense of urgency to try to get the birdie, and this is going towards the out of bounds. It's got to sit.
Has too much on it, or does it check
OB.
up? No, it's out of bounds for Wysocki.
Wow. Wow. These are huge moments for these guys.
I'm just trying to collect my thoughts as to what we've seen unfold here in these last few minutes as we're looking at 18. Nate, I think we know there's a play, to lay up to the left side, but we've seen that burn players. And now we just saw Wysocki go easily clear the water. That wasn't the problem. It was a matter of going deep past the basket.
Yeah, it's just the decision if you're going to lay up. Do you want to take the water on off the tee or on the second shot? We've seen it be a disaster on both sides. Matty O, he was on the left side and had a lot of trouble. We also saw Ezra Robinson earlier, who was way on the right, ended up throwing out of bounds again. But then we've seen Adam Hammis absolutely park the hole. So this is a scary shot for Ricky, but he's got that kind of jump throw ability to just put it up close, which is nice.
This is wild. And to think this is only day number 1. Emerson Keith on the tee. Well, there's your answer as to what the wind is doing. Emerson taking this much time, he has to be going for it. And he is. Does it have the right stability? This needs to get left, and that's tracking towards OB.
That he needs a kick. And he may have gotten that kick off that late branch. We'll find out soon enough.
Guessing that's going to still be out of bounds.
So for everybody at home, what these guys are trying to do, they're taking one of their most overstable discs, but as they throw across the lake to the right, it turns from a headwind to a crosswind. And if that wind grabs the bottom of the disc at all, that's why it's going so far to the right. The power of AB, huge advantage here, and this looks great. Yes, nice shot from Barela. But if you get it too flat and it turns from that cross, from head to cross, that's why everybody's going so far to the right.
This is low, and it turns over, but it might have enough to get across. It does. Klein didn't think so, but it does carry over. That's out of bounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole way. Yeah, no chance.
I mean, that was a perfect example of what I was just explaining. As soon as he got over the water, the wind hit it, it turned into a crosswind, and there's just no chance for it to come back.
We're going to take another look at Kyle Klein as that came out of his hand low, and it was turning the whole way, but had enough carry to find and stay in bounds. As we watch the reaction from Kyle.
I just think very fortunate for Kyle, probably able to get out of here with a par. You know, the ability for Anthony to throw a much more overstable disc at a high speed is a huge advantage here. And the issue that we're seeing, and this is an issue for most all the players, the hole's 468 feet, so you still have to throw a high-speed disc. And as that wind catches it, it's flying way too far to try to stay in bounds. I believe this is the disc of Emerson Keith.
And a few moments ago, we've seen all of this disaster that's happened on 18, except for one Adam Hammes with a tap-in birdie to close out his round. And speaking of closing out the round, Nate Perkins, any parting shots from you before we let you go off to Tournament Central?
I just have to say that time and time again, the finishing holes here at the Beast provide some of the best entertainment all season. I mean, the new 16 is proven to be a very difficult challenge. And then, of course, 17, all the drama in the world. And then 8, you're throwing, it turns into a different win. Things are just wild. Fans are like lining the road and watching people try and just finish their round out. So we've got one more round at the Beast on round 3, and looking forward to seeing that new course with you guys tomorrow over at Lake Waco.
Appreciate the hustle around the facility out there, Nate. Thanks for all the hard work. You and Brian both will be featured in Tournament Central coming up right after our round today. Here's Robinson. Not a problem.
He's going to give up another stroke. He's going to drop into that mid-20s as far as his position. And just 10 minutes ago, he was in 4th place.
Stuff that I hit, like turning, like just going straight in here.
So Terry is just looking at the stats here on 18. Just 5 birdies today. And of the players that are inside the top 10, James Conrad was the only guy to get that birdie. We also saw the birdie from Hammes. Of course, Ty Love got it. And we saw the one earlier from Simon. So it's a small club that are getting birdies here. That's not a good shot.
That's not far from where we saw Matty O hit off the side of the basket. So you always have to be thinking, if you miss coming at that angle, that water is still in play. adequate. Not great, but should do the job there for Klein. Emerson for bogey to close out. Dead center. Never a doubt.
Kind of an up and down day for Emerson. Fortunate to finish with the bogey.
Solid close that we just saw there from Anthony Barela, picking up 5 of the last 6. Very disappointing close for Isaac Robinson. As we take a look at the scores, the hot round that started the broadcast, 12 under, remained the hot round throughout the rest of the day. James Conrad would jump into a tie for first along with Nicholas Antala. They sit at 12 under. Welcome back in, everyone. The Beast provided yet again, and we saw holes 16, 17, and 18 more so, just crushing dreams out there of trying to run after this title. But overall, we saw a ton of birdies, we saw a lot of drama, and we saw who prevailed ultimately at the end. It was exciting.
Yeah, it really was, and this is exactly why all the fans at home love Waco. And fortunately, we got 3 more rounds of this. Not here, but at this tournament, we still have 1 more to play at the Beast. So ultimately, it was a great day of disc golf.
It certainly was, and we're going to take a quick break. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at some of the highlights that we had from today's action. And let's recap some of what we were just talking about, Nate.
Let's do it. Yeah, round number 1 out at the Beast. What a day. 4 great players. It started early on. Anthony Barela with the big putt on hole number 1.
And what felt like somewhat of a slow start. Yes, he made that putt, but then would take 3 pars in a row. Finally, when he got into the woods is when he'd start collecting more birdies. We saw the eagle here by Emerson Keith getting a little fortunate off that tree just to give him a more open line. And then from the bottom of the hill, he would go on to make the eagle putt. Just barely getting it to come in.
It was really a pretty wild day because all of these guys on this final card, they all had their moments of the day. There was moments when Isaac just couldn't miss the center of the fairway. You had that eagle by Emerson Keith, but there was guys out on the course as well battling, and this was one of the 6 birdies on 18. This is James Conrad.
Closing it out strong as James Conrad will be a co-leader, 12 under for his effort today. And of our 3 leaders, he's the only one to go bogey-free. So it was great to see, like I just said, bogey-free for James Conrad. Our other co-leaders, Barsby and Antala, both had a single bogey out there. And then Barela is going to join them, and he had a single bogey. So pretty clean golf throughout today. Is there any other quick takeaway there?
No, definitely. We're going to hear B. I'm really interested to see a guy who's never even been inside the top 20 when it comes to this tournament is now in it, and we're playing 2 rounds at a golf course for Anthony Barela. Also, big shout-out to Ezra Robinson, who was actually leading until he had the big mistake on 18. So maybe Ezra, his game is coming around here in 24 from the progression we saw in 23.
Well, as you just called it, we're going to hear from Anthony Barela. We're going to do that and break down the rest of the day all on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
Pound's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be. Let's start from the beginning. I didn't choose Pound, I chose Levi. I trusted Levi to make the best bag possible.
He's always trying to innovate. He wants it to be perfect. And I think he's the kind of guy that nothing's ever perfect.
I trust the product. I trust the people behind the product.
At this point, I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
What is the simplest way to improve your disc golf game? The answer, learn from the very best. Paul Ulibarri, Simon Lizotte, Ezra Aderhold, and Holland Hanley. They're not just players, they are your elite coaches guiding you every step of the way. The Power Disc Golf Academy is the premier online disc golf academy with over 150 on-demand lessons that are specifically designed to improve your skills right now. So what are you waiting for? Join today at powerdga.com.
With 20 years of the educational disc golf experience, disc golf is now a mainstream activity in physical education across the nation. 150,000 lightweight golf discs, 267 permanent campus courses installed, and thousands of partner programs in all 50 states. As a 100% publicly funded charity, Edge Disc Golf couldn't do it without you. Please join our mission to reach and teach the next 3 million young disc golfers.
Heck of a day out there for Anthony Barela. He caught up with Nate Perkins after the round. Let's hear from them now.
Anthony Barela in the clubhouse, 11 under par. It kind of feels like a sprint out there. You found yourself just 1 under through the first 4. Is that something that you were at all thinking about?
I knew I needed to create some sort of routine with my putter because I was kind of nervous out there those first couple holes. I thought I missed the 1-hole one, but somehow it went in, and then after I got those nerves out, the putting became easy, and that's what I think propelled me to shoot better on the back half.
Yeah, we haven't heard you talk about nerves too much. Is that something you still experience? Are you experiencing it any less after the big win?
No, it's still the same. It's just, I don't know, everyone gets those first round jitters, and just got to shake them and get on a roll quick, especially out here.
Sorry, AB. Talk about that finish there. I mean, the wind, it seemed like it was going to lull there for a bit, and then it pretty much picked up for your last 6 holes out here in the Open, and you had a good stretch.
Yeah, I think it allowed me to commit to my shots more and throw more overstable discs, and I think the misses on those holes are early releases and not committing, so I think the wind helped me out, honestly, down the stretch.
How do you feel about your chances over at the new Lake Waco course?
I played it yesterday, and I really enjoy it, so I felt like I just needed to fight through this course, and then I feel like I'm going to play well out there.
All right, Anthony, I think you're going to change history here. You don't have a great track record at Waco, as the UDisc guys like to bring up, but 11 under par, find yourself on the lead card tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Sweet, thank you.
Appreciate it.
And rarely can you look somebody straight in the face and say, well, you don't have a good track record out here, but he knows it. He's well aware of it. He talked about it in the press conference. You just mentioned him not being in the top 20. I don't know if it's even been in the top 40 or 50, actually. So he knows he just has to get through this course, which hasn't been his friend. Tomorrow, I don't know, that course might get broken. I mean, it's the first time we're going to see it, and someone like AB is ready to attack it. And you saw the smile on his face when you just brought up the course. He's ready for it.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything tells us that course should fit right into his game. The thing that we really should be talking about is the progression of Anthony Barela. The fact that he, as he said, was nervous early on, but was able to battle through. He's on the lead card after playing this course. You know, if you're going to become a world champion, you have to be good at everything. You can't just be, well, so-so in the woods. And I think today he proved it, that he was able to get through those woods shots. He had some scrambling that he had to do. So I think overall it was an impressive day from AB. There is a little bit of pressure in the sense that he has to go out to the golf course now and perform, because everybody's saying, well, hey, this is the course that you're supposed to kind of play well at. There's still a lot of issues out at Lake Waco for AB with his power. Brings in out of bounds. What side of the fairways does he play? I think there's a lot to look forward to tomorrow.
Well, and funny you just said that. We've talked about this progression of AB, and we saw the stats and all of that earlier in some of our graphics. Tomorrow he joins 2 world champions that are going to be right there with him. Of course, we're talking about Greg Barsby. We're talking about James Conrad. It's going to be interesting to see what those guys can do. Greg was saying, he's like, I'm not sure what the wind is going to do, how that course is going to play, and he certainly doesn't have the power, very few do in the world, have the power that AB has. So I think we're going to see very different games out there, regardless of how much wind is there. I think we're going to see 2 very different attacks by what a James Conrad, what a Anthony Barela does, and even what a Greg Barsby does. And Antala also going to be on the card. So it's going to certainly be exciting for us to head out, and that's our first official look at Lake Waco tomorrow.
It's going to be really interesting to watch this card, because you do have these 2 world champions, which last year was not a great season for either one of them. They're starting off hot here at Waco, but now you're going to a course that maybe doesn't actually favor their game. But can they work their way around the course? Can they put it in bound, make good upshots, and still shoot good under par? You don't necessarily have to be the big arm, but I think the wind, as you said, is going to be a huge factor. And we can't overlook Antala either. I mentioned it early in the show that he looks good. He looks fit. He looks ready. He looks powerful.
Well, it's going to be a great lead card, and we're going to close out the day with our OTB Only the Best shot of the day.
There's no question. It's the over-the-top Eagle park job.
You can appreciate the park job that we saw by Anthony Barela.
Maybe the ace?
We
had the ace.
We did have the ace. Yeah, those are at least honorable mentions, but come on. The Eagle by Jared Stoll. It is absolutely insane. And like I said, it was funny to talk to him because he knows that missing the putt in previous years was kind of what he's remembered for more than the shot. Today he makes up for it. And Jared Stoll right there. He has no idea just how close he is.
Solid mustache, too.
Oh, yeah, that's next level. That's at least a 1060, maybe 1070 mustache. Jared with the Eagle. Congratulations to him and our OTB Only the Best shot of the day. We're going to be back tomorrow morning, as we've been telling you. 8:45 a.m. Central is when the coverage begins. 2 p.m. on the men's side Central. Hopefully no weather delays tomorrow. Make sure you guys join Nate Perkins along with Brian Earhart for our early morning action that comes in at Tournament Central. For Nate Perkins out on the course, along with Nate Doss, I'm Terry Miller, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Disc Golf Network.